Okay, it's 6:10 now. It's 6:10 now. Let's
At
begin.
6:10, I think we should start.
Yeah.
So we're starting with the solo flyers.
Yes.
Okay.
So Jeff and Owen, you can enter these, and most of these are, or I think all of them are in PDF form. So
They look like
yeah. So you can zoom in a little bit and scroll down.
okay. I'm gonna look at it on my own screen. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, hold on.
All right. So this is one of our monsters.
Dude. Is that a render on the left or reference on the left?
Reference on the left.
Oh,
like, that's incredible. What are we doing here? All right.
Okay.
Why you at us? Oh, that's awesome. All right. Are we going? Are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
We're on. We're going.
Oh man. Okay, and this is recorded. Hi guys.
Yes.
Gross. I'm terrified. All right. So thank you, Jack and Angie and Nicholas Dela Cruz and all of you guys, you beautiful bastards. So Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and all that stuff. And Jeff, hi, you beautiful human. I have a dinosaur question for you later. But Jack, really quick, what is the concept? Or we're just shooting for rule of cool, or are we looking for what's the story? Can you set us up?
So they're working from randomly generated. This one's a monster prompt, and you can see up in the left-hand corner, the artist has helpfully provided what their prompt was.
Okay. Good. Oh.
Yeah.
A horrible bleat sound across the marsh. No one in the party ever seen such a beast before. The colossal growl started at the party with greed in its eyes. It's hungry for anything in its sight, and that means you. Okay, so it's a hungry screamer. All right.
I think I dated somebody like that once.
Pick a what, Jeff?
Never mind.
Also, one party member remembered they'd eaten one once before, and it had tasted pretty good.
Right.
I don't know if that's totally relevant, but okay.
That could apply to so many things.
Yeah, so many.
Yes, Lily. Yes. All right. Okay. So I think from that description, it could be anything, which makes it really tough. So I think that we need to see something that can scream, and we need to see something that can scream, one, and two, we need to see something that can devour. Right. I have a hard time looking at the page and not seeing the reference. So I would suggest maybe next time, and this is just formal, so don't worry too much about it. Moving the reference off the work page so that we don't keep going back. Like, it's on the top left of the page and it's in color and it's got all the contrast. So my eye just naturally goes there, and I keep seeing the reference. It makes it hard for me to track back right into the right across back into the image. Stuff that I'm turned on by in the work, and I have to I gotta say, I really like that that it's nice, clear, concise, easy to read, legible, and you've got numbers. So number 19 for me is what jumps right out as being something that I can't recognize in real life, but I can see that it's composed of things from real life. And that starts the ball rolling on the interesting scale, as opposed to something like 17, where it's like, yeah, you're just unagi, or what the hell is that thing called? An octopus. You're just an octopus. So when I get to 19, like, I like that octopod body. I like the squid tentacles. I like the pseudo beak, and I think for me that's probably a range to move in. The reference on the left is awesome, and I think number 3 is awesome. If I didn't see that reference, I probably wouldn't look at number 3, number 15, number 20, number 13, etc. So I think I'm really drawn to 19. I would ask you to do more with the body. Right now it looks a little bit like an air sock, and it's see what you can give with that body, so like make me think if I'm an explorer, that thing can eat me in 1 or 2 bites. Like, I'm really afraid of it, right? So I'm like, I want to feel that fear. So Jeff, I'll pass it to you. I mean, if I want to feel fear, I mean, that's the way to go.
I agree with Owen. It's hard not to look the reference, and so in the future, I would keep your reference on a different page because you're definitely influenced by it. But all the ones that have, it's funny that Owen that you have that hornbill beak going on 19 and that kind of stuff. I I guess that one's okay, but I'm still being influenced by your reference, and it feels like a lot of these images are being influenced by your reference. Definitely number 3 and 17 and that kind of stuff. So that those strike me as like they're stepping off points, maybe not so much. It seems like they're just at the beginning. I'm actually inclined to like number 6. I don't, because as if it's a, if it's still similar to a jellyfish or to a Portuguese man of war or something like that. And, I'm liking the thick, the tentacle, and then the exterior tentacle, the stinging tentacles, the nails. And I also like this blob that's in there, and it has so many different beaks and stuff. That seems like it would, I like that it would have this multiple facility for screaming, right? So like if you happen upon this, you were swimming or you were scuba diving, or if it floats in the sky, you walk upon this and not just one starts to scream, but they all start to scream. So you're just deafened by the number of beaks that it has and stuff.
4 minutes.
That's good, guys. Thank you.
Well, I almost just shut everything off. That was crazy. Yeah, so I guess I'm going. I personally like the ones that are more ambiguous as to what it is. I like that you put in the hornbill in there. And for those of you guys who don't know what hornbill is, then I guess then you're better off not knowing. But I like kind of the direction of having it. It feels very fresh and new to me, having something that I'm not familiar looking at. And so out of all of them, I think I'm going to go with number 6 personally. So I think I like that one the best.
All right, 2 solid directions, guys. Thank you. Nice work.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Next one.
Just remind me of the concept really fast.
So the artist did not put the prompt in here, so I'm gonna pull it up from somewhere else and read it out really quick. This is character 1, an orc, a very young orc bard, raised as a cook, who valued kindness but indulged in gluttony, who wore lots of jewelry and glasses.
What kind of glasses? All right, so
Any glasses. You could be like shades, sunglasses.
Owen, do you want to go every other one? Do you want to go first on every other one, or you just want to carry it the entire way?
Dude, I'm just mesmerized by the deep, rich baritone of your voice. So whatever you want.
Oh,
let's go every other one.
Okay, that's cool. This is another one. I think we need to find a way to separate the reference from the images. Okay, guys, how many video games can you think of right off the top of your head that uses an orc with big teeth that stick out of their mouth? Just right off the top of your head. Just give me a number. I can think of at least 3. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Look at what we have here. It's like, are you trying to do something? Again, this is going to sound really obnoxious, but are you trying to do something original and tantalizing, and it's going to give us a new sense of your artistic performance? Or are you trying to copy and relive the experiences of other artists who've created an orc? Okay. What does an orc mean? Do all orcs have tusks that grow from their bottom jaw and angle out? So I guess this artist, that's an answer that's a question that needs to be answered. Is like, I'm not sure why this person has done this. It's like there's so many games that have orc tusks and that kind of stuff. And I think this happened last semester or last winter too, was like it's like, here you are, you're trying to be your own artist and that kind of stuff. Don't lock yourself into the visual box that somebody else has created for you. Okay, that's like, you know, there's so many different iterations of Batman, but they're all a guy who wears a mask with a cape. Okay, and so I would like to see you like try different stuff. What does an orc mean to you? It's wildly open. It's like, you know, J.R.R. Tolkien described orcs a certain way. There's, you know, there's lots of different writers that have described their own type of orc. And then do a little bit of research of, you know, like where the orc legends and ideas have come from, and then see what those orcs are. Are they thin? Are they, you know, sturdily built like you see in a lot of the video games? Do they really have tusks that come from their bottom jaw? And what's the value of having those tusks? It seems like that never gets addressed. Honestly, if you guys had big tusks like that, you'd be spewing saliva copiously because there'd be no way to stop it from closing your mouth. So is this, you know, I like your reference, but I don't think I'm not seeing this as something new. I'm seeing this as just as you're just fulfilling more ideas. So this is an opportunity for you to really break through and share the world what you think an orc looks like, you know, and does it look more like a goblin? Does it look, you know, what's your impression of it? And it doesn't have to be somebody else's impression that you're just bringing forward. So I'd like to, I'm sorry, I'd like to see more iterations. I'm done.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jeff. I just want to give everything that Jeff said
4 minutes.
A resounding super double triple high five. See, look for something new. Get the old stuff out, and then go for something new, for sure, out of your system.
Yeah. So give me 20, 30 more iterations on that. I think that'd be so cool.
Oh, undead. All right. You saved the best for me. All right. An agonized scream sounded across the desert. No one in the party had ever seen such a beast before. The colossal, corrosive stared at the party curiously. It was hungry for anything in its sight, and that meant your party readied for battle. Okay, so really quick, and I know that I talk about this one every year, but when you make something, you gotta, you got little scale things in there. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so I think the first thing that you want to think of is not make anything cool just because it's cool. You want to make something with a balance of you want to fight it or fuck it, right? So you want to be it or you want to kill it, and that's like I got that from Courtney. I didn't make that up. It's not my moxie, but it's a big deal. I think if number one and number two, if that's a camel or old dude running away, I love how big they are. So right off the bat, I mean, I want to fight it because it's so big and I want to dominate it. But it's also just a guy in the biggest coffin I've ever seen. So forget it. I think for me, I'm looking at number 3 and number 4. The more that you push the weirdness, the more that you create interest, right? It's going right back to what Jeff was talking about. Such a good point on that last one. So I don't know if that's a cauldron in number 3 pouring out its own barf soup to make a monster, but dude, if it's a cauldron that's as big as a house pouring out the soup, give me like 10 dudes coming out of it, dudes or dudettes, whatever, coming out of it, and make it really, really crazy, right? So I think you gotta push it. If you think that if you ever go, no, that's stupid, it wouldn't work, that's probably the exact headspace you want to be creating from. So find that place inside and then make it. For me, 3 or 4 is easily the way to go. I don't know what the hell is going on. It looks like 3 is pouring out vomit and zombies are coming out of the vomit. Dude, go there. I'm all about vomit zombies. Let's do it. That's awesome. I don't love the legs or the arms are legs that have hands. Yeah, okay, never mind. Sweet. What if it had a handle and a third arm is holding its own handle up or something? Get really fucking crazy, man. So think like, boom, when you're playing a video game, think, boom, the monster shows up on the screen. You got to be like, oh, it's fucking awesome. What can you do that when the page pops up on the screen to make people go, oh, that's fucking awesome? Remember, design is not about rendering. I kind of like how legible this stuff is. In the future, I would tell this person to do 10 more at least, so that you have that kind of stuff. Design is all about throwing shit away, not getting one and holding on to it. 3 or 4 for me. Was that inside the 2 minutes?
Yes. So far, so good.
I'm going to be sweating at the end of this.
We always expect the first ones to take a little longer. Eventually, you guys will start repeating yourselves, and we can really speed it along.
You know me. You know me.
I agree with Owen. I'm not seeing anything new and interesting, but I like number 4. I'm thinking in terms of monsters and stuff. Like, imagine this is a big, I don't know, almost like an intestine, if you will, and then it's like pregnant with its matter of zombie death stuff, and it's going to burst open or something like that. Then I like that idea of going there. I think the scale of the big monsters is cool, but at the same time, there's still just like, is that going to be a guy in a is it old school Godzilla with a guy in a Godzilla costume, or is it going to be like this really intense thing? So I would go with number 4, but think of it as like it's like basically a mothership, if you will, and it's like pregnant with this stuff, and it's just going to burst out, and all these horrible things are going to come after it. So that allows you then to think not only just about the pod that it's in, but all the things that it's contained inside of it. And like Owen said, moss, more. Okay. Courtney wouldn't let us get out of class unless we had done 50 thumbnails of one iteration.
Dude, my arm still hurts from iterating in Courtney's class. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he just wouldn't even let it. Like, there was days when I couldn't even go. It was like, I want to go home. Still have 25 more to go, Jackson. All right. Oh, look at these iguanas. Iguanas are beautiful animals. There's a T-Rex.
You're a beautiful animal.
Oh, is it my turn or your turn? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Jeff's turn.
It's Jeff's turn. So I think we're supposed to be like all me, then all you, rotating each one.
It seems like that's how it's going.
Okay, Jeff.
Okay.
However you want to do it, man. I'm all game. I'm wearing glasses, so I can handle anything.
I don't mind. Like, if you start it, then a lot of times I just agree with you, and I'm like, okay, I agree with you, and I'm done. But I think if just one of us talks about one thing and we go into the next thing, and one of us talks about the other thing, do you think that's going to work for everybody? Is everybody okay with that?
Sound off in chat. Everyone cool with that? I'm cool with that.
Give me the big booyah. We got one yee, so I think that's
I'm perfectly cool with that.
That's all you need. All you need is one yeet.
Okay.
Yeet.
Okay, so I'll take this one, and then Owen will take the next one. I guess it'll even go even faster. That way, Jack won't be late for his date. I think these are pretty cool, and you've got some rib cages in there and that kind of stuff. But now you're not showing any rib cages, and I know that these are silhouettes. But how cool would it be to look at this? Look at this dude that's up here on the thing. Look how far his rib cage kind of protrudes out from his body. It's right there next to the. That looks like I guess it's an iguana skeleton. It's not quite sure. It's not a dinosaur. But there's a human figure with like a really emaciated human figure over there. But look at that chest. It's like kind of bulging out of there. Look at that greyhound down there on the bottom. Look how far its chest bulges out there. So these are these creatures are cool, but I think you could take it a little bit further direction. I love how big the feet are to give them that huge balance and that kind of stuff. It'd be nice if these were numbered person. So in the next iteration, make sure you number them, because your whoever's critiquing you is going to have a hard time critiquing and saying that one in the upper right hand corner is. I like the feet on the one in the upper right hand corner. I think I like the body posture in that one in the lower left hand corner. But these all feel the same to me. They don't feel like they're very different. So I would, go in lots of different directions. Like put the head where the butt is, and the tail is coming out of the mouth of the creature, something like that. Just don't be afraid to, put this creature in a blender. Look at this photo that's down on your reference on it's the second to the bottom left. It's like this thing has been all chewed up and destroyed. What if this became a creature? And then you combine some of that rotted apple in there and that kind of stuff, and then throw them together. Don't be afraid to put this in a blender. It's still, the biggest thing that was told to me, like when I was doing some character design stuff, and then what I brought into my character design classes was, is this a guy in a suit? And it really feels like this is a guy in a suit. I think where they got away with that, and it really didn't seem like a guy in a suit, was Jurassic Park. Those scenes where the velociraptors bump the kitchen door and that kind of stuff. That was actually
2 minutes.
So that was actually a costume. So those are things to think about. Okay, done.
Awesome.
Why are you switching it over? That guy in a costume anecdote was really, really good, Jeff. Thank you for sharing that. I've never heard that. Ooh, all right. All right. A pain squeal sounded through the crypt. No one in the party ever seen such a beast before. Large, pain-looking hybrid of a human and dragon stared at the party with grievance eyes. Had too many wings. Your party rallied for battle. Okay, it had too many wings, dude. That's my favorite trigger. It's my favorite phrase, and I would automatically throw out everything that only had 2 wings, which is like half of them. So when I shoot around, I think this stuff is really nice and clear. I'm really landing on 10 just because I like that sack of a bunch of tiny wings. I think 2 is really too basic. It's the shape we always expected for a dragon. Same with 7, same with 6. If you're going to go for a dragon, dude, push it, do something crazy. I like how 16 is sitting on its neck, but I like the bulk and the volume in the arms of 10. But dude, what it had too many wings, period. That is pure solid gold. The tail from 15, the wings from 10, the neck from 16, and the arms from 10. And I think that you've got gold. I think if you should probably break from any silhouette that is like a dragon you've seen in anything else, unless the job is to just reiterate the same thing that we always have. And oh, dude, the way that number 12 is sitting on its wrists with its fingers coming back around like a sloth, awesome. I mean, so the arms, the arm posture of 12, and I think that you've got big tasty monsters. I think some of this stuff is pretty good. I like that 4 is falling down. Looks like it has a human's back body. That's kind of interesting to me. But I mean, you still do want your party still needs to want to fight it. When you turn on the corner and it's like, well, I'm still drunk, you're like, whatever, dude, I'll just cut your head off. So I mean, something like 10 is I think doing it for me. I get really self-conscious with creatures because Jeff is so strong when it comes to creatures, but I just really identify with whether or not I want to fight it, and because I'm not going to do the creatures. So I think number 10, neck of 16, hands of 12, arms of 10, wings of 10, and tail of 15. And I think you've got some stuff. And then I would really stress suggest pushing some of the proportions so they're not the classic proportions. And the last thing I would say is, what does this do? Does it fly? Is it aquatic? Is it a burrowing ground animal? Answer that question, and I think that will help guide the decisions that you're making. So right now it's just dragon. So if it's aquatic, it's like an aquatic thing, that'll really change the way the wings look. So they're not just pseudo-European pseudo-European bat wings that kind of always end up on everything. And then so once you give it a function, that will help determine its form. And I think that you'll get some cool directions to push in the framework that you're kind of already thinking. Booyaka. But remember, I love these prompts, dude. I love these prompts, like story prompts. Like they're like what do you call those questions you do in math class where you have to do a story for the question? Story problems, dude. I love that they're like story problems for artists. That's dope. Dude, a pain squeal sounded through the crypt. The human hybrid dragon turned around. Dude, it's a human hybrid. That doesn't mean it needs to be a human size, right? So really push that shit. And I would throw in, guys, a scale reference somewhere on the page so that anybody looking at it would understand the scale reference and understand the size of these things. It had too many wings. That's the best sentence I've ever seen. Dude, whoever wrote that should definitely go get a burrito for their efforts. That's worth it. I mean, I yield the remainder of my 2 minutes to Jeff if he wants. Did I go under 2 minutes?
It doesn't.
1 minute, 40 seconds.
I concur with
Nice.
you. I concur with you, Owen. Everything that you said, I concur.
Roll, baby, roll. Oh, brains. There's literally brains.
Yeah. We have a lot of these brain tentacle things. This reminds me of D&D back when I was a kid and we used to play it. So Oh, it's a cuttlefish is what you guys. Oh, I'm with you. Okay, so a horrible bleat sounded across the marsh. No one in the party had ever seen such a beast before. La 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 la. Party member remembered they'd eaten once that tasted pretty good in the arid whales waste. I just learned to read. Less life form. All right. These there's a lot of sameness that's going on there. I'm kind of digging number 4, but it still feels like a cormorant with some spaghetti attached to the bottom. I don't know. It doesn't feel like you're giving yourself a chance to really explore. It's like you're kind of stuck right now and like, okay, it has to have tentacles and it has to have a large body mass and that kind of stuff. There's lots of other things, it's like something that I mean, imagine something you've never seen before. Like, you would just stand there and you're just like, what the heck is this? Does it have to have tentacles? I mean, it seems like you're like really stuck on the tentacle thing. And so I don't know if I had to go in a certain direction, I kind of like 2. I kind of like there's pieces of 2. It looks like a little turtle head or something. But do the tentacles all have to come from the bottom? Can't they come from a different part of the body? Can't they come from something else? The number 4, again, I kind of like the design of the top of it, even though it does sort of look like a cormorant head. But I think the tentacles are really kind of tripping you up to make loose of the pun. It just seems like it's like, okay, they're just tentacles. But I think in the other one that had a similar, that had the same kind of concept, was there was different kinds of tentacles.
2 minutes.
So there's thanks, Mom. So there's like the big thick ones which help process the food. There's a little tiny ones which help bring the food in. There's also feelers on certain jellyfish or jellies that actually just probe around and that kind of stuff. And so I kind of want to see some other stuff. What if it had human hands and tentacles? I don't know, even like phalluses or something that were out there. I mean, that'd be pretty darn scary. So I think you could continue to play. It's like, but don't get it. It feels like 3 and 5 and 8 and 9 and 10. They all are like the same. And so don't be afraid to just really explore. It feels like you're starting to do that with number 2 and maybe number 4. But that's kind of where I would go with that. Keep going. Keep more iterations. I'm done.
Participant uploaded and deleted. If you want to refresh the feed, make sure we get everyone.
Where are we? See monster upper class.
We were right. Another one after that. Yeah, there we go. Same monster.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So I'm going to say this for everybody. I think everything that Jeff just said is absolutely applicable to this, like as if they were the same. But I will use just a second here to talk about the virtues of pushing it. Like, I think that in terms of this kind of iterative design, you really want stuff to throw out, and part of that is pushing. So go fucking crazy. If you look, one way to push is just to hit the proportions. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The proportions are the same for everything. Take one, make the tentacles thicker and longer than the brain itself. Take another one, make the brain bigger and more voluminous than all the tentacles combined. Take another one, make 2 tentacles super big, make the brain really small. Make half the brain big, make half the brain small. Keep going back and forth, and you've got to throw stuff out to get good stuff. You can't you can't play it safe and you can't do it fast. So if you think about permutations, when you guys went to math in grammar school and didn't listen just like me, you did permutations. And so start with big plus big, small plus small, small plus big, small plus big, big plus small, small plus big, etc. And then blast down the chart. And dude, really quickly, you'll be able to churn out like 14 or 20 iterations that fast. Take a deep breath, jump up and down, play a video game or something, come back to the table, look at what was good, and then take that, extrapolate, and iterate from that. Dude, we're talking about coming up with like 20 concepts. or 30 concepts probably in 30 minutes. You can do it that fast, but you've got to push stuff and get fucking crazy. So I don't know if there was something about brain and tentacles. Maybe it's a party decision or something.
2 minutes.
Push the beak, push the proportions, push the concept, let it rip. You got this. You got this. You just got to think outside the box.
Okay.
So that's the monster grell that they randomized. It's a basically a brain with a beak and tentacles.
Okay. Then dudes, maybe the tentacles come out the top of the brain. Maybe the beaks come out of the bottom of the tentacles. Maybe you know what I mean? Maybe the tentacles have knees and those are beaks. Maybe the brains are on the knees of the tentacles. Maybe the tentacles come out of the beak, right? Like, think of all the different things you could do. So that's the kind of thinking you need to put into the paper. Because right now, it's all one design. And I'm not saying that to be negative or to down it, but it's one design right now. So there you go. I'm sorry I went over my 2 minutes. And guys, this is not obvious. Don't take it too personally, but do take it. Yeah.
All right, last solo.
So this is similar. This is the same thing. Okay, let me tell you a story. I know this is going to take longer than 2 minutes, but I was out dolphin researching in Belize, and it was time to come back to the boat. So we were out floating out in the water with our snorkel equipment on and stuff like that. So I'm swimming along, and all of a sudden I hit something, and it like basically wrapped around my entire body. Okay, I'm a big guy, so this wrapped around my entire body. All I could see was the color orange, and everything was, it just was like struck with pain. It was like somebody had just injected me with like the most painful fluid that I could ever imagine. So then, and I could barely swim back to the boat. So I was swimming with one hand. My hands were numb. I lost feeling in my feet. And I'm swimming along. I'm just barely, I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. So then when I finally got to the boat and I pulled myself up, I noticed that there was one tendril from a Portuguese man of war. And when we pulled it off of me and set it on the floor, it was about 30 feet long. Okay. So it was completely wrapped around me. And the weird thing is, it's like, and then of course everybody has to make a joke and like, okay, do you want me to pee on you to make the sting go away and that kind of stuff? It doesn't work, folks. But anyway, once we got that off, they took meat tenderizers, what they did, and they poured it on me. But like a week and a half later, then it came back. And so it was all these little like, they look like mosquito bites, and it was just like ran all over my body. Keep that in mind when you're looking at this stuff. Look how short these tentacles are. You know, like Portuguese man of war, they have tentacles that can go up to 50 feet long. They have an air sac on the top part of their, you know, it's three different organisms, but on the top part that acts as a sail, and the wind pushes them along on the surface of the water. Okay, so when you're talking about a beak and you're talking about a brain and you're talking about tentacles, I think Owen's right. I think for some reason you guys see this, you've found this one piece of reference, and you're all being influenced by this one piece of reference here, which is up at the top, and luckily it's not on the same page. But look, it's a beak and there's some tentacles on there, and it looks like there's it's got some stinging cells on it. It has no eyes in its brain. But that you're being influenced by that a little too much. I think you want to, you like look at that reference and then go like, okay, that's how that one person did it. How could I do it? And how could I do it better or differently? Maybe not in that order. Okay. And so I think Owen's right when he's talking about like, okay, there's this beak. Why not have be like a tapeworm, or look at Alien when, you know, its mouth opens and then another mouth opens and then shoots out, and it's all this other stuff that can be adapted for it. How does it move? Does it move in the water by using a sail, like a Portuguese man of war? Does it swim? But so then if it swims, it's going to need a stronger propellant, like a moon jelly has a very strong propellant up at the top. It like catches water and it pushes out for propulsion. So, where does the brain sit? I think it's really important to, this is the same thing as the orc. It's like, okay, I've seen this iteration and they all have that little mouth, but I know that I've watched at least 6 or 7 cartoons where it was a thing that would chase them. I think there's even one in the new Scooby-Doo series where there's something with a beak and it floats and it has tentacles and that kind of stuff. So, are we locked into having this same iteration happen and we're just sort of modifying it, or are we actually really trying to get out there? I think if I was going to go anywhere, I think number 12 or number 13 on this one, I think are heading the right direction, only because, and this is going to sound obnoxious, because they look like cake, because this person ate it before. It looks like cake, right? And
4 minutes.
Imagine you have, I know I'm going to go over, but imagine you have this plate and you're like, oh man, cake. And right as you put that fork in it, these tentacles jump out and it like starts to eat your face, like, oh my gosh, how would you feel about that? So I think Owen's right. Break out of there, find a way to make that beak work with tentacles and that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm thinking. Okay, thoughts on that?
Can I throw in one more line while you guys are switching up to the next one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
also,
definitely.
Dude, it's a massive brain in a fantasy world. Like maybe it's wrapping tentacles around tools and fighting you with stuff. Like it's a creature, but I mean, guys, thinking outside the box means pushing it. Like what can it use? What can it utilize? What can it do? Like Jeff is saying, how does it move? You might get clues from that kind of stuff. It's a fucking massive brain. Like maybe it's smart enough to do stuff. Like I don't know, hold a shovel. Like, I don't know why a shovel, but I mean, whatever. But I mean, whatever. Just it's up to you guys. Make it happen. Like you got it. You can do this. There's some nice ones in there.
So which group are we going with next, Jack?
So we should probably just do parties in alphabetical order. So
right.
It looks like next we've got Party Bloody Sock.
Fuck, gross. It sounds like a
Bloody Sock Party.
Hormone accident.
And we've actually only got one participant in the Bloody Sock Party. So
okay. Can you show me the bottom part too? Let me just get a quick overview of the work. Okay. Oh, I like the way they're thinking. All right, can you go? Let me see the thumbnails really fast. Not the reference. That's okay. Let me see the. Okay. Oh yeah. Go to the top, please, just so I can see the. Thank you very much. Whoever is doing this, thank you very much. Cool ass fisherman on the left. Lean ex fisherman who's cursed with immortality after a supposed to be fatal shark attack. Just wants to find a way to die. Yeah, been there. Okay, can you go? Can you go to the thumbnails first, please? Okay. 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 And then go down a little more, please. So, dude, my first thought is you got some cool shapes and some interesting costume choices and some cool reference. I don't feel cursed from anything. It's a shark attack victim that's cursed. So we always come back to, so every party events, we always come back to tell the story, right? Even in our classes, it comes down to tell the story, communicate the idea, tell the story. I love the fucking net hat. I don't know why I can't not swear. I love the net hat. I love the shawl on number 2 and the hat on number 1. I think you should push farther than just the leg. This guy is cursed from a shark attack and cannot die. That is fucking gold. It's a pile of gold. Dude, if you just lose your leg, you can do almost everything anybody else can do for the rest of your life. This guy's cursed. Dude, maybe the shark bit his head off and he can't go around other people. And so now he's doomed to live forever, which a lot of people would love, but he can't enjoy it because he doesn't have a head. Or maybe the whole top half of his body is gone. Or maybe it took his head, digested it, shat it, he got it back because he's got nothing but time. And now he's got to lug around a rotten head half and then hold it so that he can even perceive. And he's got to put that into a basket so that he doesn't go around with people seeing his rotting head. Like, guys, tell the story. Tell the story. The answers are in the quote, in the prompt. The answers are in the question. So, like, dude, he's got to be cursed. He's got to be a shark attack victim. This is good drawing. This is good drawing. It really is. But the thinking can go 2 steps further, right? that's the fucking beauty of telling the story. So so you got to grab those possibilities. And I don't want you to feel bad about this because this person put in work and it's nice. It really is. I see the elf. I don't see the warlock, but you can't get everything. Well, actually, with the staffs, but guys, in 5e, warlocks don't need staffs. So just saying. But really, like, I want cursed shark attack victim, ex fisherman. That's props. Cursed shark attack victim. That's story. So I think you've got the props. And I actually see warlock. I see half elf. You're firing on most cylinders. Now I want you to do the thing that separates you from other people. And this is where design gets crazy because at one point, I've said this in every one of my classes, everyone can draw, right? At one point, everyone can draw. That just takes time. But the fucking thinking is where you excel, right? So craft separates artists from artists. Thinking separates artists from designers, right? So thinking in the iterative process separates artists from designers. So that's it. I mean, it's all about telling that story and seeing that shit happen. So I think this artist is strong enough to go back and come back in one sitting and give us something crazy if they can find a way to get inspired. So, dude, a shark ate him. Have you guys ever seen Steve Zissou? Life Aquatic, Steve Zissou? That character spends his entire existence trying to kill a shark that killed his friend.
4 minutes.
You can see it in his countenance. Thank you very much, 4 minutes. I appreciate it. Guys, nice work.
Awesome. Okay, our next party is the Boneless Pizza party.
Boy, I've been there.
Yeah.
All right. Boneless Pizza Monster. By the way, I'm going to have to commend you guys on your reference. Props to all you guys for getting awesome reference. Your reference is great. There's a lot of screaming people in there. It's like people who take my class. All right, so beast, colossal, corrosive, undead, personality, agonized, curious. Okay. Motive, escape and leave itself from internal agony. Oh, okay. Okay, I like where you're going with this, and there's a lot of fun stuff that you're doing. And whenever you're showing the ribs, though, it's just like, oh, look, exposed ribs. So like, I don't know, I want to see why this thing is so upset, but at the same time, I'm really liking. I think I like number 3, just the concept of number 3, that lantern hanging from it. But I almost wanted to, like, maybe it's in so much agony because it can't sleep, and then that agony is caused because the lantern is stuck in its body rather than just hanging off the spine and the stinger, and it can't. It's the light is just out of reach, and it can't can't turn off the light or something. So I'm kind of liking that. But if you're going to show exposure of interior elements, if you're going to show interior anatomy, don't just relegate it just to the rib cage. There's a lot more stuff you can do. You can make flesh hang off the pelvis. Maybe that's why they're slowly rotting. They've been rotting for the past 1,000 years, and that's why they're in so much agony. If only somebody would just put some calamine lotion on it or something, then they'd feel better. I don't know. Every semester I have somebody animate a person pulling a thorn out of a dragon's paw, and I'm just thinking, oh well, if they just pulled the thorn out, then they'd be okay. They wouldn't be so angry. So I'm liking the idea of these rotting creatures, but I want to, I think we're starting to get an idea of what the performance of the character is in 5, but I think you really want to push the gesture and get in, just like Owen was talking about, that storytelling that's happening in there, and I mean, yeah, it's hungry, but how cool would it be to have its pelvis and like all of its innards have just been rotted away, and that's why it's so hungry, because it can't digest anything. And then I'm not quite sure. Curious. If you were that hungry and you were agonized, you would just eat whatever was around it. I don't know if there would be curiosity. But I think I like the way that's going. But again, I think you could keep going forward. But I'm liking the iterations that are definitely 5. I like how large that mouth is. I'm thinking of what's it called? The Curse of the Black Pearl, the Pirates of the Caribbean, how the guy drinks the wine and it just like pours out from under him and stuff. And so if you imagine, just looking at that, like he had an exposed mandible and that kind of stuff. So it's like he's hungry, but he can't feed himself. And so I don't know if we could, if there's something that's really cool about the lantern that's hanging from the tail on number 3. And if you combine that with number 5, I think that would be really cool. The other ones, they're not really doing it for me. But I like where those are going. I really want you to push that gesture. It's like, show me agony that is, think of an animal that's been struck by a car that's trying to walk away or something. That's more agonized than like number 4. Number 4 is just like, I can't believe my pizza's late. So I guess that's pretty that's agonized. But I think we could push those, like really show
4 minutes.
I'm sorry, one whole half of the body is like rotting away while the other half is trying to support it and that kind of stuff. But there's something interesting about that lantern. I'm not quite sure what to do with it, but if there's add the lantern in, but maybe the lantern had smashed into its skull or something and go in that direction. I'd go with that. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry.
Let's come back down to the 2-minute time reminders.
Because we don't.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah. And also, just a reminder. So these people, they've all decided to form a party with each other. So eventually, their characters will be within lineups with each other. So they're trying to go for kind of a similar style, and that's how we're approaching the parties.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So the adventure from. Can you zoom in, please? Look at that lady with the shield, man. That's dope. I need that reference. Okay. The adventurer from the Lord's Alliance was the next to rise from the seat by the window. She was an adult Aasimar paladin, raised as a lore master who valued temperance but indulged in wrath, who had amnesia and was an illegitimate child. Okay, so 2 minutes now, or did you already start? Give me an idea. I think I'm tired from the last one, but
We'll start now, yeah.
okay, so Aasimar angelic elf, so that means wings and a tail, right? I can't remember if Aasimar doesn't have wings or not, but a tail for sure, right? Elf ears. Dude, can you please click in one more on this? Yeah, just so I can get, there you go. Beauty, thank you. Who valued temperance but indulged in wrath. That sounds like my dad growing up, suffering from PTSD. So, I think it's interesting. It's an interesting choice to go from like temperance to wrath in the people that suffer that way, dude. It's like a light. From temperance to wrath, I like who's also in a paladin. Like paladins are typically knights in shining armor, but they don't have to be. But I think knowing that. Temperance, wrath, paladin. I'd probably drop the bow and arrow because paladins are knights in lore. Typically, don't value melee weapons and not missile weapons because they want to duel with you and have a contest of arms and all that shit. So I think, man, this is really interesting. Like lino cut designs, super legible. But the second that I lean in, it's hard for me to read them. Two, I think number 2 is interesting. Number 1 will fail the pencil test, so don't do that. If you don't know what the pencil test is, if you hold up a pencil and you don't break the plane, then you're losing. That was something that Courtney walked around, just held up a pencil and then just cut stuff out. I like the movement on 5, but I feel like they're slipping, not running. Number 6 feels a little lewd. I'm wondering what's happening in number 7. So I'm kind of interested in number 7. I'm kind of a little interested in number 8. I dig the book. I kind of think if you want to push that idea of temperance but indulging in wrath, you might have them like
2 minutes.
Thank you. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm struggling with this one a little bit. you might want to try and show it. So don't go for the battle pose, but go for the story pose. Like not repose like number one, but look for something like they're turning around to give a little kid something, but at the I mean, like they're holding out something for a kid or a pauper, but on the other hand, they're turning around and then giving you like a stern warning with the other hand and focusing their attention somewhere else. I think that you're going to pull a lot out of the story. Right now, it's fairly tropish. It's the tropes of warriors, and I think that what's missing is maybe some of the story, if that makes sense. And otherwise, I think you've got all the trope boxes chopped off. I mean, like I thought Asmar had tails, but who knows with that. And I think that I'm story, and that's where I'll probably leave it. Are we doing 2 or 4? Thank you for that.
We're doing 2, or we're trying to, but we're giving you also have some leeway. Also, someone who might be better versed in 5e can correct me, but I believe that the only requirement for the Aasimar are the glowing eyes.
Okay, dude. Blue skin?
And the blue or gray or maybe even purple skin. Yeah.
That dude's huge. Of course you get to do the bard, Jeff Jackson.
Oh boy, I get to do. I lost my place. Okay, so let's see what we got. The adventure, share against the wall. Very young orc bard. Damn it! There's another orc. He's gonna have teeth in his bottom jaw. Wore lots of jewelry and wore glasses. I love that. I think the glasses part. Play up the glasses, man. They could be big ass glasses. That'll be really cool in a silhouette. This character will have a cool nature-inspired color palette accented by silver and white, whatever that means. I guess there's a lot of open room for that. A saucepan banjo. That sounds like a band name already. A meat cleaver keyboard guitar. Awesome. Those are 2 band names right there. You take them or leave them. Young orc bard who was raised as a cook and valued kindness, but indulged in gluttony. Why is that a but? Shouldn't that be an and? I mean, it seems like it's a wrong conjunction. Who wore lots of jewelry and wore glasses. I want those glasses to be huge. I want them to be giant. You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses with you. Oh, you hit a guy with glasses. Well played. So, yeah, I don't know. Every bard that I know is this sort of waspish kind of person who nobody seems to like, but yet at the same time they're a really likable character and that sort of stuff. So I like the pose of number 2 that he's like really taking himself seriously as a bard, but I really like the idea of a saucepan being the weapon of his choice. And the other, 3 and 4, that's just like a naked dude who's holding something. So, as attractive as those are, especially when you walk in not expecting them, then, I'd be more inclined to go with number 1.
2 minutes.
Orc bard, what does that mean? I think I really, out of the 2 remaining ones, I really like 1. I like those thin legs and that big, thick torso. I think you could push it a little bit more though. And then, again, glasses. I think that's the thing that's going to sell this one. It's like, man, just really incorporate. Don't give them tiny little glasses unless you give them a huge head and those tiny glasses just sit there in that giant head. I would go in the opposite direction. Just really make the glasses big and have fun with it. That's where you can hang all your jewelry off the glasses and do that kind of stuff. Yeah, just have fun.
All right. Next.
Elton John, for reference.
Yes.
For an orc with big glasses. You don't even need to do any pushing on that, man.
Next is Eyes Emoji Party.
Eyes Emoji Party.
All right.
And now Owen gets to take one of our orcs.
Okay. Okay.
Can you? So is this the same character? Like
same character.
Fat bard that likes. Oh no. Foodie bard. Can you please straddle the? You guys do have good reference, man. I'm pretty into it. Can you please straddle the 2? These are legible enough to go to probably dip down once. And okay, thank you. So punk teen revolutionary who values the arts and enjoys making friends. Dude, nobody enjoys making friends. Harbors balance between civilization, nature, peace, freedom. No extreme is good. Reject pridefulness. Fair and equal treatment for all. Young orc enjoys cooking, jewelry, gluttony, values kindness, humble. Dude, so for young orc bard, man, I would push the human proportions. Look at like a gorilla for an orc instead of a human for an orc. Like I think a lot of games went sexy for orcs, and that really influences the way that we see them. They're like, it's just a beefy dude who's also green and has two big teeth. Like, you got to step away from that as an orc. Like, push that shit, like Jeff's been saying. Go gorilla or something, right? Even that's pretty tropish. But young, whatever, that's fine. Enjoys cooking, jewelry, gluttony. So did I go for fat? Gluttony. A glutton. Gluttony. I mean, you even got the adjective baked right in. How many gluttons do you know? That are not fat? Like Luciano Pavarotti, that guy, man. Values kindness. Cool. The giant, fat, friar tuck gorilla that has a bard tool, man. So on B and on B, the tool is too simple. I like that. I like that big horn on A, dude. For bards, it's hard to make bards look cool. It's hard to make bards fit into the you want to fight them or fuck them category. That's why I love bards the most. Plus, what the hell is a bard gonna do? Hit you with his fucking teakwood banjo? You're just gonna. It's not even gonna scratch you. So the challenge in a bard is to pull it into that fight it or fuck it thing, to make it sexy, to make it awesome, and make you want to do it. Just think that these kinds of designs for the disciplines that we're going into, it's about sales, right? Like, you're making things that you want people to look at and go, oh, that's cool. I want that. I want to buy that. I want to be that. So I think that the instrument's a good way to go. So the instrument's really interesting. If you scroll down, please, to the
2
other
minutes.
I think I've said it. I just want to double check the body types. I think that pig head on 8 is kind of interesting. And then I think you've got it. The attitude on number 1 is interesting, but I don't feel like it fits the prompt. Booyaka. Dude, make that instrument a fucking force of power, and you got it. Thank you, guys.
All right, let's see. Our next one. Again, nice reference. All right. Self-determination. Everything has a price. The family watches out for each other. This is like every other family. I need to make this bigger because I can't read that small. All right, table of friends, stage is set. There's a lot to say here. Bent old woman bashed the door with gnarled shoulders. She shrugged off a patchwork cloak and held something aloft. A blue crystal pulsing with arcane energy glinted in the firelight. Anyone here looking? Okay. Old Marma wasn't a man. So this person's old.
That second block, that's the genre determinator or determiner. That is not the character. So they're including that because it factored into their character, but that's the same for everyone. The character is in the first block.
Okay. There's really not enough there. I can see why this person is just doing this. I would love for them to be old or something. At least it gives them some sort of character to go from. These are just, yeah, okay. So I guess what we're stuck with is this is a tank basically, and so then this character has to be big and strong and lawful evil, neutral evil, rebel. There's just a lot of evil. There's just evil most of the time. But yeah, okay. So I don't know. Guys, I've seen, I've been looking at, I'm going to have to say, I've been looking at art fantasy for an awful long time, since before you guys were born. I mean, I've been looking at that stuff for a really long time. The original Dungeons & Dragons. I even had the Dungeons & Dragons sketchbook when I was a kid and that kind of stuff. And so I'm not I'm not seeing something new. I do like the horns on the head and that kind of stuff, and I do like that you're using the curved blades, and that kind of stuff. And that tail. I guess number 5. I'm kind of digging number 5 because it has a propensity to be a dragon. But I want more in there. I'm liking. I think I like that the silhouette of the netting or the chainmail that's on number 3. Not to say these are bad. It's just I think that style wise and gesture wise, there's a lot going on. I'm thinking 5 is really interesting because of the position and also the design that you have in there. I like the straight lines against the curves and that kind of stuff. I think it's really fun. But I would take 5 and I would just start going really crazy with it. Do the horns have to come off the top of the helm, or can they come
2
from
minutes?
Can they come from the side of the helm, and that kind of stuff? So I think I would go. I really like that there's this axe. I like that they do have another bladed weapon that's attached to their belt. But I want to keep going with take 5 and give it some more definition, maybe bigger pauldrons or spalders on the arms, on the shoulders. Really try and break that silhouette up. I think 5 is you're on your way with 5. And I'm done.
The stage is set. What's the? Oh, is this the Asmar again?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, someone plays Final Fantasy Tactics: War of the Lions. Okay. Nice, nice. Okay, let me look at that just real quick. And then can you scroll down to what they chose, please? I really love that. I really love when you guys did thumbnails, came back, and then did a few more that were cleaner and easier to read. Remember, thumbnails are for you, comps are for us, right? You should always approach it with that attitude. Quick thumbnails, silhouettes. That's for you to iterate rapidly. Pick something, commit to something. That's for us, right? So just in general, think about that. You'll get more mileage out of something. Like on like one that Jeff was kind of groping for something on the Bard, because they were just silhouettes. Really good silhouettes can tell a lot of the story, but a little bit of drawing inside goes a really long way. I can't remember. This was like a person that was quick to temper, but also kind. I'm not getting the quick to temper. I am getting the kind. So I dig that. I think that your challenge now is to somehow show us quick to temper. Maybe she's just drenched in blood and she's got viscera on her and there's like hands and feet and stuff on the ground around her. But to show that she has gone nuts, and she turns around, she's like, okay, I'm calm now. Fuck you fuckers, you're all dead. But now I feel good. It's like bam, we gotta build some contrast into it. Otherwise, it's very one note. And if we go back up to the thumbnails, please. I think Nicholas is the thumbnailer. I appreciate it, Nicholas. I please attach a please to anything I'm saying. I think 6 is one note in the other direction, and so is 4. So those also won't tell the story. I kind of think if you're going to be looking for something like that, like number 1 or 2, where they're standing there and they're like
2 minutes,
and it's like shing, but then and then they're like really big and buffed, and all the really happy, crazy stuff is happening on top, and then the camera drops down, and there's just dead people everywhere. And that might be a way that you show the story without the acting, because I understand that it's a real challenge to show super fast. Super angry and super temperament at the same time. But I'm going to say one thing really quick. I do like the authenticity on this stuff, and I like the style. I like that I can see exactly where it's coming from, and I like that it's exaggerated realism. Thank you. Sorry for going over the 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
All right.
Next party is free real estate.
Wow, there's a lot. Okay, free real estate.
Yeah, that's why we're keeping the time so strict, is because we've got a whole lot of submissions this time around. Everyone's doing awesome.
The same thing. Okay. Well, kangaroo though. Man, look at her deltoids. Man, she's got some bitchin' deltoids. Oh my gosh, you have such great reference, and then it's all the same. Ah, did you ever see Legend? This is it. It's Legend. I like. Okay, I want you guys all to stop for a minute and say, okay, what has been done before? All this stuff. What can I do to make it? Where can you take it? Okay, maybe the pants are too big. Maybe the boots are really huge. There's all this stuff that you can add. Don't get locked in. This is your chance to shine. Like really show the you that's inside. Like go ahead and make this as original as possible. Why doesn't the tail come out of their top shoulders and their head is down where their crotch should be? Maybe it's a weapon that we've never seen before, or something that's like a club but also has blades and a laser cannon on it or something. I know this is a certain time period, but surely they've harnessed some sort of magical power that can do that kind of thing. So I think these are okay. D's, it's a little bit hard to tell if the arm is sweeping all the way down or if that's the leg. If that's the arm and it makes that big curvilinear shape rather than a tail, then I'm all about that. Why can't they have like a big hooked claw arm that they could use as a weapon, and maybe it shoots needles out of it or something. But these all, again, this goes back to would it just be a guy in a rubber suit that, it's just a guy in a rubber suit. So let's make this different. I think you're heading the right direction, but right now you're still inside that little box. So climb out of that box and mess around with it a little tiny bit. It doesn't have to be humanoid. You've got this awesome gorilla going on over there. You have a freaking kangaroo. Why isn't it sitting on its hind legs and with huge feet and that kind of
2
stuff?
minutes.
Okay. And you also there's some other cool stuff in there, but I think keep pushing it. Look, you have fur cloaks. Why isn't he wearing a fur cloak? What happened to it? So keep going. I think you're off on the right track, but I think you could, Courtney would say, give me 25 more and you can't leave the classroom.
Oh, dude, that's happened to me before. Oh, look at that. Oh. It's like the Kung Fu Hustle guy. I don't know what that instrument's called, man. Like that like pop-up keyboard, that lap keyboard. Okay, dude. Okay, hold on. Find themselves in the boiled brook for a performance, but taverns also hold the loosest tongues. Aloof, kind, introverted, perfectionist, gluttonous. Okay, can you please make this one bigger, please? Just one more. All right, one. The first thing I saw before I could even tell what was going on was fucking movement, man. The movement feels real. These poses feel real. This feels like this character is alive. Kudos. High five. Boop. Okay, so next. I love that. They're alive. I love it. So Courtney's talk all the time. Don't ever go for this pose here where you're just standing up, when you could use the pose to help tell the story. So I think there's so much life in these. It's telling the story. They're not playing the instrument. They don't really have to play the instrument. I don't read the instrument A, B, and C. I can tell that you obviously are thinking about this in the way that you could get it in there. And in your small thumbnails, you've got it in there. But get the instrument in there. Feature the instrument. It's a bard. The bard you don't have a bard without a musical instrument. Even if you have performance bards, that's dumb. Can you scroll down to the thumbnails, please? So I love the movement. I love your style. Number 2, fucking savage. Number 1, triple savage. Kung Fu Hustle savage, all the way savage. Dude, one hand making it levitate, other hand making it fly off or something. Like look for a Kung Fu pose and you've got both all at once. It's like, and they're firing off the glowing swords. Number 8, number 6. Not number 6 as much, but number 1, number 2. Number 2 is better than number 8. It's the same thing. So, dude, number 2, man, you should be thinking about number 2 all the way. Number 3, really interesting. A couple of these would be really good to include with your finish to show the idea for how these things work. If you
2 minutes.
Guys, keep it. Thank you very much, too. If you keep it 1 and 2 and 3 in mind, and please scroll back up again, Nicholas. Is it Nick or Nicholas?
Nick is fine.
Okay, and so like these are beautiful drawings, but they're missing the involvement of the instrument like the other ones. I love the gluttonous, man. You really nailed everything in that prompt. So good job. For you, it's just picking the right pose and then getting all of the finish into your piece for sure.
That was good, Owen. That was number 2 was awesome. I do like that one. All right. Oh wow, look at this reference. Holy cow, that's so good.
Honestly, reference.
All right, here we go. Monsters. Yeah, the lizard man. There should be a comment there. The lizard man. Human body rots away as reptilian parts grow to replace them. He's blinded by the agony of his flesh falling away, driven mad by the hunger of rapidly growing new body. We've done this one. Lives in a crypt. Doesn't everything. Consuming the bodies buried there, and adventures sent to slay him. All right, cool. There's this TV show on Netflix. It's called The Witcher. Don't watch it. There's this thing about a crypt, and anyway. Oh my gosh, I'm really digging D. I want it to be more incorporated, though. Like look at the Thing from the 80s, right? And how incorporated everything was. It feels like this is still sort of Centaur-esque, okay? And so I'm really digging C. The C is really slick, but I think we could go a little bit further. I like how the appendages are different sizes. I like how the left arm or near arm is much bigger, and it has these big tendril-like fingers, and then right arm is smaller. I'm liking that. If we can, that tail seems undefined, though. It just sort of seems like, oh, well, Owen had us do these pine cones, so I have to do a pine cone tail and that kind of stuff. Look up pangolins, look up, compare pangolins to armadillos and that kind of stuff, and then see what we can come up with tails, unless it has like, each one has suckers on it, like a cuttlefish or something. That'd be really slick. But I'm liking C and I'm liking D. If you can combine those two, I'm really liking where that's going. These are really interesting. I'm looking at the next page and not at the first page. So now we're more into the thumbnail-y kind of stage. I would go with the main ones. I'd go with the ones that you have on yours. So like C and D, the ones kind of interesting, but I think you can imply a little bit of 6 in there as well. I like that stuff is kind of dripping off there and stuff. But definitely go with that top page. I think these are excellent. You've done a really nice job, and the motion is really good. You have this really nice sense of gesture. Number 4 is beautiful, but I don't know if it works for what we've got going on there. But oh my god, I want that as a logo. I want it on a t-shirt or something. So, but I'd go with C or D. Those are really interesting, but definitely, more flesh, falling off. This thing is rotting, that kind of stuff. And the reptilian parts, I think that's cool. And I'm done.
All right.
Oh, look at all these pictures of Owen.
Fucking great.
Wait, I thought that was you over there in the right-hand corner. Oh my god, that's just like your armor.
I'm so trellish. The adventure from the Eternal Enclave was next to rise from behind the bar. He was an adult elf, witch, warlock, raised as a fisherman who valued diligence but indulged in sloth, who wanted to get rid of a cursed object and couldn't die. The character that rolls Emerald. Okay, so this is the shark attack again?
Shark attack was one of the specific choices that person made. That's not part of the prompt.
Okay. So, man, that was a fucking great decision. That's my favorite concept so far. Okay, so the character that rolls Emerald Enclave can be chaotic neutral, rebel neutral, true neutral. Okay, character will have bright, verdant color palette accentuated in gold or red. So I'm just gonna say, push for story. Right now it's it really reads like every trope in Silhouette. Cool. I think you've got that. You understand that. So next, go for the story. And just like we've been talking about. So like 5 is the barbarian, 4 is the ranger. 3 is the elf. 2 is the dwarf. 1 is the high elf. 6 is the human. 7 is the gnome, who is also a wizard. So like I can tell really clearly your class and your race from each one, but I can't see anything about a person who was a fisherman who is also valuing diligence but is indulging in sloth. I can't see anybody that has a cursed object and cannot die. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
That's the kind of thing that I'm getting. So on one hand, super clear, super legible. I think that you'll be fine one day, right? But for right now, focus on the story. Story is the thing that other people will not get. I think I'm going to throw some images into a folder and put them into the file, the cloud for you guys really quick, because I think there's a real difference between being a bard and then being a gluttonous bard, right? There's a real difference between being a witch, elf, warlock. I mean, dude, most of these aren't even warlocks, but there's a real difference
2
between
minutes.
witch, elf, warlock, and a person who used to be a fisherman who values diligence but indulges in sloth, etc. So thank you very much good job. Tell the story first.
And Owen, in the main section of the critique one, I put a folder there for you that you can put some images in.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yes. All right. Next, we have Team Furry.
Okay, let me get there.
Oh,
Furry. Upperclassmen. Human, witch, warlock, he, him. Lawful moral. I don't even know what that means. We didn't see any of that yesterday. Let's see. Raise the shepherd. No, learn magic to control. I killed a rampant population of wolves. Oh, poor wolves. Wolves always get a bad rap. Just once I want to see somebody do something good with wolves. Other than the frequent dog killing, he's a chill guy and lives a very domestic life. All right. Just these guys. I want you to play around with shapes a little bit more. I think this is the same thing that Owen was talking about. It's like I don't know if there's enough story. I think 7 is starting. We're starting to see some stuff in 7 that's pretty interesting. I kind of like the tub on 3. I like the belly on it. The rest of it, I'm not really seeing it. It's like yeah, 4 is straight from any religious reference. Oh, here's the shepherd, and look, a sheep that has a smile. I think we just need to, put them in a situation if you have to. It's like, what are they doing? Are they pulling a rope? Are they, where is that damn sheep? Are they looking over a hill? Is like, where's Choo Choo? I've been looking for Choo Choo all day. And all the other sheep are like, man, you have to get Choo Choo. And he's looking. He's like, Choo Choo, where are you? Put him in a story. I like the 7, but it's still not seeing. I'm not seeing those elements. Like think of a shepherd. They have to carry around, they have to be pretty broad shouldered, either male or female. They have to spend time out there with livestock. And so they have to pick them up. He kills things. He kills wolves, these poor wolves that are hungry and Princess Mononoke is running around with them, but he kills them. He needs to have some strength. She needs to have some strength. And we need to see that. I like the big, thick legs, and that implies that it can be wearing boots and it's way up in a cold climb or something. But I think this goes right along with what Owen was saying before. It's like, tell me a story. Give me a pose that really suggests what this character is about. I think as far as elements, I think that staff on number 7 with the things hanging off of it and that kind of stuff, that's really starting to suggest it. But I would love to see the belly. Because fat people are interesting and nobody ever draws fat people. So it'd be cool to see some girth on that thing too. Domestic lifestyle, he's going to spend a lot of time eating and killing wolves.
2 minutes.
I'm done.
Good timing.
is this the new one?
Yes.
Okay. Party, upper class critique. Sorry, I turned around to see if I can get some things for the bard. Furry party, upper class critique.
This is our tiefling again.
Okay, tiefling that is also a paladin.
Tiefling barbarian.
Oh, tiefling barbarian. Okay, so there'd be like several people in one group, and we're looking at everything from one group. Okay, I get it, jokes. Okay, a tiefling barbarian. Well, okay. Can I please see the second page again? Okay, stop right there, please. All right, I'm going to say right off the bat that weapon on number 4 is mega ultra badass double dope. Okay, that made my dreams become a reality. So if we're getting into a little bit of prop design, the props on these are great. Someone's looking at reference. It's a fucking anvil with a blade. It's awesome. If we scroll up, please, again, I'm going to say that looking at your thumbs, you came out with the right ones. The movement is awesome. The weapons are pretty okay. I would take that axe. I think it's the same axe. I think that it has to be A. I mean, if you want a barbarian, a double-handed axe is good. You don't want the life ninja, so your trope is a little off. All the ninjas are fun, but that's not a barbarian. A is definitely it. You should probably exaggerate and accentuate arms, chest, ribs, torso a little bit. You could probably shorten the legs a little bit. Look at Mike Tyson for reference if you want to see where I'm going with that. But I think this is pretty on the mark. I think for you is push it forward a little bit so we can kind of see what's going on. The movement's there, the acting's there, the pose is there, the weapon is there. You just gotta walk it forward. This reads like an upperclassman did it, but you need to take another step forward. I think you're moving in the right direction. There's not really a lot to say to you. I would skip the really delicate Asian influence on the left and go for A. If you really wanted to push that theme, I mean, I would probably get into something more like Yakuza tropes, like a giant wrestler or something. But I mean, I don't think that you need to. This is pretty fucking sweet. I'm digging it. I would go with A. I mean, I think I'd probably pull some of the lamellar from C over into A and show some skin, but not be sexually gratuitous. You know, it's a barbarian. So you wanted to read. Angie, I saw your eyes weird, like one little 2-inch box, like the first time I saw you since this started. Nice. But I hope that makes sense. You know, like not being gratuitous, not being rated R. Like think about a PG. Think about how hard you can get a PG-13 barbarian or something, not a rated R barbarian. But yeah, man, I think you're moving. I can't tell what's going on with the head and the horns, so that's something that you'll have to clarify on the left. But yeah. I mean, if you got it, you got it. Can we look at the bottom ones just one more time, please, just for the hell of it? Yeah, that axe on 4 is that's money, baby. Do it. And the sword breaker on 5, money. If you pull that on like a secondary weapon, awesome. You know, the veil on 3, awesome. I like the horns. I'd probably beef them up. Remember, maximum, minimal. Maximize, minimize. So take everything, leave it minimal. One thing's got to be maximal. Don't make it the weapon if it's a barbarian. The barbarian can have a big weapon. Do something else that's also maximal, like the horns or something. Blow something up. The horns, the tail, maybe. I think the tail's a good idea. But you had a cool chain whip tail. That's awesome. Yeah, dude, you're cooking with fire, man. Keep it up. The tail on 4, mwah. Dude, that's fucking sweet, man. Just the stuff. Okay, that's all I got for you. Thank you. Kick ass. You're making it happen. Pay the bills, baby.
I know Owen talked about it, but I love that cape. I know it doesn't work with that character, but I love the cape in B. I just think that's so cool. All right.
Cape on B.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want to?
But I agree with you. But I just like how you handled it. Visually, it's really interesting. All right.
Good art. Yeah.
Squeals for the crypt. No one had a party at such a piece. Oh, wow. Oh, look at this. It's not like a created had too many wings. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good. So is this going to be more? Oh, okay. Interesting. Let me see. Okay. Let's see. A crypt guardian falling apart, desperately trying to repair itself with remains. Okay. The one that you spent the most time on is the one I like the least. I like B. I like how twisted and mangled it is, and it feels like that's going in the right direction. It just feels like this kind of mangled old, like you put it in a meat grinder or something. It just came out all dwanked. So I'm liking that. I think the wings are interesting. I'd like to see the wings. They're like so damaged that all it is like the bony mass and that kind of. I think so. I'm liking B a lot. I I think if we took some elements, some of that fragmented stuff from E, and let it hang off of B, I think that'd be really interesting. Um, I in terms of elements, I like how there's like skulls that are incorporated in the eyes of the beast and that kind of stuff. I'd love to see more skulls just like shoved into its anatomy and different parts like that. I like the horns on it, or the spines as it travels down its back in the main image. But I want to encourage you to go with B. It's like it really feels like some of those appendages are actually on backwards, or there's something that's twisted around with it or something. And I think you're on the right track with B, like all that stuff. And it just feels discombobulated and stuff. I almost wanted to like put the head in a different direction or change it around a little tiny bit. But yeah, so B, there's some elements of the main image that's in there and that kind of stuff. That's cool. Nice reference as well. And you have this reference, you have this reference of, look at this tree that's like full, it's made of the bone of creatures that come by it and stuff, which is really slick. But how cool would it be to have this thing look, it is actually part of the crypt itself. So you
Few minutes.
you could put headstones, or you could put more more masonry in it and as well. So it's sort of a combination of all those things. I'm done.
All right, we've got three more. We've got three more groups, and then level 20. So that's 15 people. We've got 20 minutes left. Let's see if we can bring it down to 1 minute per crit.
Okay.
I think we're at the point where we are kind of repeating stuff,
Yeah.
so it's probably a good.
And then we'll slow it down a little bit towards the end. We can go a little bit over time, but let's try and keep it. Keep it going.
Let's do it. Team Teeth. Let me have it.
Wait.
Is this a barbarian? No.
Where are we?
It's the Tiefling Barbarian.
Okay, dope. All right. So, here, you centered on the dudes. To me, are they Asian? Is that what the team is doing? Like, am I misreading that when I was talking about that influence on the last one?
I think it's just a coincidence. I think a lot of people just went there for their inspiration.
Are you talking about the furry team?
Okay, really quick. I'm going to go with 5 or 9, and definitely get that hair. That hair is a way to communicate motion, movement, and energy, just like hands and eyes and fingers, right? So don't lose those things. I love the two-handed weapon. Reach is great in 5e, and so yeah, I'm joking, but I do love the two-handed weapon. Maximum minimal, play up the size of that weapon. Like, you can make it a horse cutter instead of a naginata. Like, really, really, like, look at it. Kwon Dao, Kwon space DAO. And then really, like, I think the biggest horse cutter that exists, like, it's like 155 pounds. It's
1 minute.
But 5 or 9, blow up the proportions, man. Play with the shapes.
Cool. Okay. All right, me. And I scream at the party. I've never seen such a thing before. I've seen all of these things before. Person, I like number 3 with the little finger projections. I wonder if those could come out of different parts of the body or something, or if it, like, you could have like assumed legs, like visual legs, but then it has these other growths that come out, which is what it uses for motion or propulsion. I think 6 is hitting it. I think that idea of 6 is really cool. I like how it feels rotted and it's kind of falling apart. If you can combine 3 and 6 in there, I think that'd be really cool. Aware that I have seen all of this other stuff. So I think if we were to take and combine 3 and 6, that'd be great. I love that there's lots of little legs on 6 and there's like a spine or something like that. I think that's really slick. I wonder if it could come out of a different, rather than looking at like the torso and the tails moving out, and I wonder if we could handle that in a different way.
1 minute.
Okay, I'm done.
Good.
Again, bye.
Maybe 1 minute, so it'll steep. You can finish your thoughts.
I was mostly finished. I think you have this really interesting thing going on with the head on number 6, or that upper portion, which is really slick. And I wonder if we could incorporate that more in 3 and 6, if we could put that, but like put it down low, like it's hanging out of the belly of it or something like that. I think that would be really slick. So push it out of the box. That's all. Out of the box.
Oh, look at that fucking drawing, babies. All right. Rallory and male elf warlock, tired of his life as a fisherman, made a deal with a fiendish creature to try and give him riches. People try to kill him when they learned of his pact, but Rallory, since covered, could not die. All right. Oh, shit. Look at number 5. Dude, okay. Look at number 5. Everybody look at number 5. Look at number 2. Look at number 7. Now let's scroll down. 2, 3. Okay, 3 is the most interesting here. Okay, get the weapons going everywhere in the body. Okay, if you're gonna do that, everywhere. Different weapons too, not just pierces, chops, chunks, cleavies, whatever. This is the way to go. Number 1 or number 3, but I really, number 2, I love the hat, but number 3 is the same thing and better. So number 1 or number 3, and if you scroll back up again, and these are fucking excellent drawings. I can't stop swearing. Number 5, I think, is what I'm drawn to the most. When I look at these, I'm like, ooh, number 5. And boy, man, what Ninja Scroll Blade of the Immortal vibes am I getting from this? You're taking me back 20 years to when I was driving all the way to the other side of the South Bay to get my my anime and my manga from a Japanese store because it wasn't popular yet. So 5 is just savage. You should probably give 5 the treatment that you gave the other ones, and the trope of smashing all the weapons into them, awesome. But all the weapon shots not into the same place, all over the body, and make the clothes bloody, stained, and disgusting. Like maybe this person is also like just gross. Like, I'm never gonna die. I don't need to change my clothes. Who are you? You'll be dead tomorrow. I'm never gonna die. Like, I stopped changing my clothes a century ago. Like that's the kind of character stuff you're missing. They're a little sexy for me, but like I want a little more grit. But dude, I love the idea. I love the way you're thinking. I love the way you're working. Keep it up.
2 minutes.
Oh my God.
That was 2 minutes? I'm sorry. I was trying to go fast.
Okay, we looked at that one.
We're doing better. Keep it up.
We're done.
Yeah.
Done with teeth, right?
Next team, Unholy Trinity.
Unholy Trinity. Yeah, that sounds like the church I used to go to. Okay, so let's see. There's a lot of reference in there. Wow, you guys are awesome at getting reference. I have to tell you, if I ever need anything, I'm just going to ask you guys to get my reference for me. Let's see what this one is. The adventure from Harvest was on the rise and the chair against the wall. They were a very young orc bard. Raised as a cook, valued kindness, indulged in gluttony. I think it should be and indulged in gluttony and not, but I know I'm going to hold on to that, but it's just the wrong conjunction. Okay. I like that big thing that's hanging, the horn or whatever it is that's hanging off of number 2. I think that's really interesting. I think go with what Owen has suggested, go something really big and large. I like how that thing wraps up around its shoulder. It looks like it's really interesting, but do something with these figures. I mean, this is an orc. Is an orc an a female body? Is that what an orc is? I don't know. I'm trying to think of what an orc looks like, and in my nightmares, that's not what an orc looks like. I think they would be dreams and not nightmares of the things that I have in my head that take place with orcs. But I do like the big boots and how the big boots stick out there. I like that separation of those lines in there. I kind of like the costume that's on 1 or 4, but I think these could go further. It feels like you just open up your swimwear illustrated and you're like, okay, what if I just put like big furry things on their shoulders and that kind of stuff. I think 7 is really interesting with the pants that come out, but I think more, just keep going with a little bit more. All of these have really cool elements to them. I think 3, that staff that has the stuff that's hanging off of it, and the pose is interesting, but at the same time they're not really telling the story. It's just like, okay, now look sexy and hold up that big horn, or now look sexy and hold up that tree axe thing. So that's kind of what I'm seeing there. Okay. Keep going. It's an orc. Play around with it. Don't get locked into these tropes. Okay, next. I'm sorry. Unholy Trinity.
We're watching more, or are we done? Because Mara's got homework.
This is you on.
Okay.
Owen, what's up?
I'm sorry. I was typing a Jeff quote. I never wanted to forget. All right. Can you maximize adventure from Emerald? The character rolls Emerald, chaotic neutral, Pel, chaotic character right, verdant palette, golden red. Okay. Slop. Oh, this is my favorite character concept. Okay, I got it. I got you. Okay. Dude, shape design is on point. So whoever this is, I dig your shape design. I dig your reference. I dig that I can see all that in there. I would say formally take your black fill and drop it down like 30%. If you're gonna put the lines inside, leave those 100% so that we can read it easier. This is super clean work. So, but it's really hard to make out the lines. You took the trouble to go there, so take the fill and drop it 30 or 40%. So it's that much easier to read. I'm digging 2, but everything else about 4 and 7. So number 5, too authentic. There's not enough design there. Number 1, not enough design there. But some combination of 7 and 4 with all that fur, that Inuit stuff, like the bone spears are really cool. But again, like I just don't feel the curse. Like you guys are just spot on with the sexy and the heroic, but you guys are not spot on with the curse. Maybe the bending back of 7 is starting to get us there. So I'd probably push 7. Whatever I said earlier, I'd probably push 7, and there's a little bit of 2 in 7. So, but that 2-7 with that grass stuff, I think that's going in the right direction. Thank you. Sorry that it took me a second to get started, guys.
Okay. As a paladin, raised in lawful neutral. Mm-hmm. Illegitimate child. I don't know why that's important. Unless it was like an illegitimate child of an orc and a human or something, and then like you can see that in there. Wow, these are really interesting. These are a flow to them and that kind of stuff. I don't know if they're reading paladin, but I do like, I like the sword or that axe sword thing in 11. I think that's really interesting. 11's really cool. I like there's something really interesting about 9 in that they look like butterfly wings or something. And I think that's really cool. There's suddenly like look how different that is. Is like I have not seen anything like that. And even if it's a cloak, it's like, oh, how cool would that be to have these butterfly wings? And then, at the very end, it's like in the movie, they're like, okay, well, fly across the hill. He's like, well, sorry, it's just cloak, and then, or something, and everybody's disappointed and they kill him or something. But I'm liking your shape design. It's really interesting. I like the holes in the cape in 11. So, but I don't know. I mean, huge props for you for thinking of butterfly wings. I think that's really interesting and cool. Also, 14. I don't know what it's holding, but I like that it has this thing that it's levitating up there and stuff. So these are hard to choose from because like they're so good. So, but I would definitely find a way to incorporate 9. I really like what's happening with 14 and 11 are really cool. But I want you to do something with those wings because, oh my gosh, that's like the newest, most interesting thing that I've seen all night. So I really want to see how those wings work. I think that's really cool. No offense to anybody else. I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing, but wow, this is finally starting to step away. It's like I've never seen a character with butterfly wings that have a cloak or something like that. I think that's really cool. All right.
Those are nice. Yeah, those are real nice.
Those are beautiful.
Awesome.
Good
All right,
shit.
our last party.
Let's do it.
Yello, the band.
So
Oh,
monster. All right. All right.
hey, it's a crocodilian skull. Look at that.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and scroll back down, please. Dude, I'm not a fan of B. So I'd cut B. B is just like walking down the street, showing off, wants to see who's looking at him. I'm more into A. I think if I'm looking at these three, A I think is doing it for me. I think you just got to get all the way into those wings. So get reference for the wings, find something interesting about the wings, pump the wings, and then I would probably go in that direction. I think because A is doing everything C is doing, but more, and I might even lose the arms and then do and double down on the wings. B I would skip, and C is doing everything A is doing, but not as good. Can we scroll back up really quick, please? And I think we'll apply everything else that we talked about creatures earlier, the maximal, minimal, and everything Jeff talked about. Yeah, in this lineup, number 4 is what I would pick. And if we scroll back down, number 4 is, this is the too many wing one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Then A. I mean, number 4. I think that's the place to keep iterating from. Yep. And then, dude, if you want reference, look at angels. Traditional depictions of angels have like 4 and 6 wings or 8 wings, and do different things with their wings. So look that up. I would probably give you that as a direction. Thank you.
Yeah, try not to make your wings look like they're sticks with goop on them, though. You know, I think they should feel like wings.
Yeah, get the reference going. Oh my goodness, look at this.
Yeah. Wow, look at these. You guys are good, man. These are awesome. Look at this. Daft the enormous. Nobody's really said enormous yet. So I don't know if enormous means like gorillan, but like elephants are pretty freaking big. Did you know elephants' feet are their sexual organs? Because if they step on you, you're screwed.
Oh my God, that's such a dead joke.
You're welcome. Somebody complained about that in my SOT. So like Jeff tells too many dad jokes. That's cool. Guess what? I'm going to tell twice as many next semester. I'm liking the motion that you have in here. I'm liking you've picked all the right things to highlight in your silhouetting. I think that's really neat. I think 2 is kind of interesting, but it doesn't feel enormous to me. I guess what Owen had said earlier about something that gives a sense of scale. So if there was something that easily recognizable that person was carrying, and then we could see that comparison of scale, or like, you know, they're carrying a locket, or they're carrying something, you know, umbrella, something that would share that sense of scale, and then you just see the vastness of them, which I think is really cool. You know, like, you know, it's a comparison between me and Inga. You know, it's like Inga looks so much larger compared to me, as she stands next to me, right? So but looking at the larger versions, which is down at the bottom, there's A, B, C, D, and D. I'm really liking B. I think B is really interesting, but I like the pose in D. I'm not quite sure what the shapes are up by the head of B. Whether that's I see what it is now. I see what it is. It's he's holding. Yeah, okay, now that makes more sense. Push those things out away from them so we get a little bit better sense of silhouette. But wow, these are great. These are really nice. I do want to see. I want to see something that says more enormity, and so not just that they're big, but like what else is enormous about them? Are they cantankerous? Do they have a huge belly? Are their feet really large? You know, I guess I want to see something like that. What makes this thing enormous, and not in a pornographic way? You know, you know, I think that it's being said.
2 minutes.
I think it's being said more in B. Okay, B. Go with B.
Can I say really quick? I agree with him, B, but I also agree with him. Get scale in there. So a really tiny weapon could be scale. Something else that's really tiny and normal would show scale. So don't go with a giant weapon because he's a giant guy, right? He's a giant guy living in a normal sized world. So find something identifiable. Now you've got scale built into the concept. Booyaka.
On the completely other end, he's got glasses. So why can't his glasses be the thing that's to scale?
That'd be funny, dude. There you go. Okay. Pain, squeal, something about something, and monsters. Okay. So monsters, for this, it's got to be number 5 because it's the only one that doesn't look like a human wearing an animal suit, just like Jeff talked about earlier. So I'm going to go back to that crit and challenge you to make a monster that does not look like a person in an animal suit. You're not bound by human anatomy, so don't stick to it. Break it, go somewhere else with it. And I like the danglies on number 2, but number 5's got to be it because it's the only one that doesn't feel like it's just a guy in a suit. So push that. So if you know a crypt, it's a crypt, large beast. Hybrid human reptile. I mean, hybrid human. So half of it's a human, maybe some of it's a human, but blow the rest of it up, right? Blow it out of the box. Get outside the box, and make something that looks like it's gonna fuck up a whole party. Okay, there you go. Thanks.
To add to that, I know that we're over time, and Jack has a date. I keep thinking back to the story that so Ian McCaig was about like designing Darth Maul, and George Lucas is like, I don't know, think of the worst thing of your nightmares, and Ian McCaig can return something, and it's like it was this sort of semi-humanoid thing with horns all over it and feathers were covering it, had this big long tongue and all this other stuff, and then Lucas is like, whoa, okay, maybe not the scariest nightmare, maybe another nightmare. If you yourself were stuck in, like, you wandered down into a cave and you were all by yourself and something came up out of the ground in front of you, what would be the thing that you would not want to see the most? And that's what I want to see you do. Okay. Cool reference. You guys all have cool. I want a cloak like that. I think cloaks should come back. Don't you think? I was trying to get my wife into top hats. I was like, yeah, top hats. Okay, this.
Oh, it's the ASMR again.
Yeah.
You want to do it, Jeff? Go for it. Kill it. You're feeling. Let it rip.
These are really cool, but at the same time, it's like it's not something that I haven't seen before. I mean, these are all, they're all things that we've seen before. I'd love to see. Why can't it have a bird body? And then when we see it in or something like that, that's when it looks more humanoid. But I'd rather see. I feel like these are still in the box. It's like every. In sketchbook collection, this is something that everybody draws. It's like, I'm going to draw a female elf that has a sword and she's in armor, and then you can also see the breast mail and that kind of stuff that's in there. And I want to see something new and different. If I was going to go anywhere, I would say, okay, F looks like it's kind of going in the right direction. I kind of like the size of that sword. I think I like E, but I want to keep going. I want you to keep pushing it. It's like, these are straight out of Overwatch. It's like, I know you guys can do something new and different. It's like, I've tasted that flavor before, and now that flavor's, it's still vanilla, but I want to get, I want to get like cookies and cream. I want to get something new. So, and don't lock yourself in. It's just because it's an elf. What is an elf to you? What is an elf to your mom? Like that kind of thing. Why can't it be on a completely perverted side? Why can't it be, or the idea is perverted, not sexual, but like, why can't it be like a Christmas elf, like someone who makes toys for Santa? What would that do for, and he gave up his job making toys because he wanted to be a dentist. No, actually he didn't want to be a dentist. He wanted to be a paladin. And what kind of weapons would he have? And what would he look like, or she look like? So break away from Overwatch, show me something new and interesting, but I think you're heading in the right direction. Again, I think if we had poses that told more of a story, that'd be more interesting. The end.
That's right, though. Also good armor reference and interpretation of reference. Usually people going, armor makes me want to take a shit sideways, and that didn't. So good.
All right, so now we've got level 20. So we are right at 8 o'clock, but we're going to go overtime. and we promise these guys who put in 3 times as much work that we're gonna spend a little bit of extra time on them. So,
Jack, you better date.
I just have to leave. I just have to be gone by like 9ish. I'm good. I was worried this was gonna take like 4 hours, like it has in the past.
You really do have a date, young Jack?
I do not.
Oh, man,
I do need to go, but
Well, someone was getting some in COVID times, man. I was pretty happy for you.
My girlfriend is on this stream.
Dude, you have a girlfriend? She's on this stream? I think I want to spend 3 times as long on that.
Owen, we sat next to each other in your class.
I don't remember, dude. So. Okay, all right. So, interest reference and rough ideation. This is the human witch warlock. Okay, this is my favorite concept. Okay, so I'm really hung up on this as a concept because I'm really hung up on the idea of the curse. Is that curse part of all of them, Jack?
This is our tiefling.
Okay,
our tiefling is
tiefling
both our tiefling and our elf are cursed. One is a cursed object, one is just cursed.
Okay, so
this is our tiefling barbarian.
Okay, tiefling barbarian. Thank you.
Yes.
Social good. What is that? Open to other.
Oh wait, hang on. Hold up. No, this participant had. Hang on. No, this is our human. The footer is wrong. This is our human warlock, who is not cursed.
Okay, human warlock, not cursed. Okay. I would say that these look like really, really nice townspeople, which makes sense because, dude, there is literally Mr. Rogers in the reference. I don't read warlock from any of them, really. Although it doesn't make me upset because, like, they're not leaning in like the super warrior trope, but I'm not getting enough flavor of the warrior at all. So like, so I think you're bending too far back over to the other direction, in that we're not getting anything that's making me feel fantasy or fighter at all. We're usually, I feel really stumped because usually we're spending all of our time talking about trying to get you to stop thinking about the warrior, and so now I'm getting kind of stuck. Like, oh, what do we do? One character I want you to look at is Yohei, Yohei, I believe, from the Seven Samurai. He's one of the villagers in Seven Samurai that interacts with the samurai. I believe his name is Yohei. But look at the villagers in Seven Samurai, and then, because that's kind of what you're doing here, but then also make them a warlock. Like if you look at your reference, if you look at the bottom line, one over from the left, like that staff is money. I would probably design that back into these guys, and then play up something big. So especially if you're going with cartoony or whimsical or like Blue Sky design or not Blue Sky. This looks more like Pixar. You're gonna want, when you're going with shape design in general, then you've got to really play with the volumes and play with the sizes and volumes of the shapes, and then push it a little bit. I love the picture of Chris from that one show making that face, and I love that dude's staff at the bottom. And but the guy in the top, if you go top left over to the middle, he's like putting his hand out. That guy's face is pure money. I think that guy's face, that spear at the bottom, that hat, but communicate warlock. I think all night long we've been like, oh, it's too tropey, it's already been done before. But right now, I mean, I'm just reading villager, and I need to get to the fantasy a little bit. I need to feel like this person is going, like it doesn't have to all be fighting, but just the same way that we said about some of these monsters. Imagine turning around and a whole party goes, oh shit, we need to fight for our lives, right? Well, like imagine turning over to your left and your right and seeing these guys. You're like, oh shit, we're all gonna die. because these are just villagers and we're gonna die. So and I'm making it sound a little silly like a story because we are telling the story. So like imagine you turn around and the monster of your nightmares is there and it's gonna tear you in half and eviscerate your party. You look left and right. Who's gonna save you? Those are the characters you're drawing. So in that sense, like where's the hook? Where one of these guys right here in this lineup is gonna save me right now? If I looked left and right and saw these guys, I'd be like, shit, dude. Shit. Party wipe. So give me a little more grease. I mean, a little more toughness. Even if you're drawing cute, how is this cute guy a threat? How is this cute person a threat? That's kind of what I'm looking for, what I'm missing. Thank you.
I do like that you're going in a different direction than before. I like that you are trying to put some whimsy in there and stuff. I think that's really cool. For me, I'm seeing number one, but I agree with Owen. It doesn't feel like a warlock, but there's something about the pose on number one. It's like, I can do it, like that. Like what's his from Wreck-It Ralph or something,
It's just local boy makes good.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
We gotta speed it up a little bit because this person designed 2 more characters, and then we've got 4 more people who each designed 3 characters.
All right, let's do it. Move to the next one.
Maybe we should start earlier so you could get to your date on time. Okay, so let's see.
Oh yeah.
This is the same thing, right? Isn't this the same thing? These are the same characters.
Yeah, I believe this is their second page of the same character.
Okay, so can I skip that and go on to the next one?
Number 8 and number 2, explore those.
What? Oh, as far as the silhouettes go? Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm doing it wrong. Okay, the silhouettes. I like number 3 because I don't know. There's something fun about number 3. It reminds me of the frog and toad. And if you're going for whimsy and stuff, I think there's something interesting about those body styles. I also like number 1. I like the motion in number 1. And in number 9. 12 is really interesting in terms of like where the foot is and that kind of stuff. But I really push the whimsy of this. I think where everybody else is like sort of, I hate to say it, stuck in the mud about like, beautiful orc women and that kind of stuff, the tropiness of it. I think you need to go and like really make it silly and play around with it, like have fun. It looks like you are actually having fun. And when you get into the silhouette, it's sort of that funness sort of gets squashed. So I would play around with it a little bit more, but get into the gesture, really show a little bit more of the performance. I think 9 and 3, 12 are pretty interesting. I'm done. Thinking about Jack's date.
Okay. If this is the same person, I'm gonna say similar to the same thing. And I know how ironic that is, and I'm sure that in your head you're like, wait, these fuckers said all night do something different, and I did. I'm the only one that did, and then you didn't like it. I get that. I was there when I was a student. I get that. So, but I am gonna say that same thing. If we look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 from the left, 8 from the left, who looks a little bit like a tent. That's a pleasing shape to me. That's the that kind of tent conical shape in holding a book or something. That's the one to me that's the most intriguing here in this lineup. I would push, but adult tiefling barbarian tiefling. Like, give me that stuff. And just remember, look left and right. These are the people that are going to save your life in the fight for your life. So get a little bit of that in there. Get a little bit of that grit in there. Prideful, egotistical, lawful evil, right? Like, where's the prideful, egotism, lawful evil? I love the way you're working, but I need you to take your thinking one more step in that direction, okay? And dude, your smudged silhouettes, they're kind of money, dude. I like them. I've never seen anyone do that. I kind of dig it. If you're gonna do that, maybe draw right on top of that silhouette too. All right.
Okay, this is from the same set, but
Yeah,
It's kind
I'm thinking for the next level 20 people, we're gonna want to like scroll through all of their work and then have you guys have a take on it.
that sounds like an excellent idea, so we can
Yeah.
get you a date. Okay, so this is I like where you're heading now. I like that these shapes and these in there. Um, I think 5 is really 5 and 1 are kind of interesting. I like 2. They don't feel like the same old, and so I'm not quite sure what's going on with number 5, but that's just cool. Like it's a thing that's coming. He's got something in his backpack. Maybe it's an easel. He does a lot of painting outdoors or something. I think this is the other thing. It's like none of these guys feel cursed. Walk up to a person who has a bad spine and ask them what a curse is. Okay. Walk up to a person who has a club foot and ask them what a curse is. Walk up to a person who has a hunchback or something like that and ask them what a curse is. Guys, like think about what a curse is. What would a curse be? It doesn't make you beautiful. It doesn't make you happy. It's something that's going to make you miserable. It's something that's really going to affect you. Like it's going to push you over. It's going to be heavy. It's going to be weighted. It's going to be something that you want, like a manacles or something. That's going to hold you down. So that's a curse. Being tall around my house is a curse because I keep hitting my head on all the lamps. Okay. So think about what those things are. What is a curse? What's cursed? Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, just go back and read King Arthur, and when Galahad goes out and finds the cursed woman, look at that description of that woman, right? So I think that's the thing that this is missing. I think there's some really interesting things going on, but I think that's the thing that I'm not reading curse.
Dude, Smeagol, guys, Smeagol. I mean, it's a naked midget, and you can feel curse. You can feel curse in every word and movement of that character.
Okay. All right, let's keep it moving.
Those are great thumbnails, though. I kind of dig those. All right, go ahead. Oh, is this the one? Okay, growl, slightless, floating, brains, tentacles, and beak. Dude, for me, tentacles and beak, slowly grinding. Dude, number 3 is where I would go with this. I would go back and apply everything that we talked about before. In number 2 and 3 work for me. I could totally see from 2 like an entire kelp forest growing off the top of the brain, so they could float on the surface of the water or float around and lure people in with its lure of a forest, and then turn around and grab it with all its meaty short tentacles. And I might really push the beak on that. I'd probably go 2 actually, and the irregular tentacles of 3 are kind of interesting. But definitely these aren't so far ahead that you can't go back to what we were talking about with the grell in the beginning and then apply that kind of stuff, particularly with the proportions, etc. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely go back and all that stuff that we talked about previously. So, okay, this is mine. This is me.
Yeah, this is that same character. Let's see this really quick.
This is the same thing.
Lineup ideations.
So this is lineup, so it's like seeing what works well with what.
I think it's too early for that. I think you need to go back and follow the suggestions that were made until we don't need to worry about the lineup yet.
All right, so we're gonna page through all of these and then let you guys have your takes.
Okay. Same thing. Whoever this artist is, drop that fill. There you go. That's a good example of dropping that fill, so you can see those line structures move through the drawing. The green one was too dark. Oh, some of this is similar to one of the other party banners we did a long time ago. Go back to the humans for me, please. So you can see how dropping that fill a little bit would help. I don't know what the character concept is. Is this a witch elf warlock? Witch elf warlock races fisherman. So dude, the fisherman has too much iconography to pass up. Fisherman from any culture has just savage iconography. These all feel like forest trappers or like forest elves, like wood elves. That being said, I think is the one in here that's the most intriguing to me. I think I like the way you're thinking with the bill hook. You could keep that for a fisherman. But A is the one. I mean, especially light, fast, fish hooky, like, but get the iconography of fishermen into there. If you scroll forward to the next page, please, to the monster. If we get to the monster bird, dude, play up that stuff that's sticking out of it. So like like on A, I love that a Poke's going through both eyes. That's fucking sweet. But these are birds, open the wings and get a nice big spread. Check out the reference on how vultures sit around and open their wings and then gather the heat when they're eating and make themselves look big to their prey. Like a vulture comes prepackaged with one of the best forms that you're going to get, poses that you're going to get in the bird kingdom. And if you, I don't think you need the double heads on F, but I would not lose the weapons. Scroll over to the next monster. I think that one was a little more interesting.
There's a sword.
I'm sorry?
Nothing. Carry on.
For me, it's B or E, which seems like they're very similar, but I'd probably go B and show more of the musculature like E. Jeff, like I said, Jeff's so much better at the animals. It makes me self-conscious to talk about them. But B or E feel like things that I'd be scared to fight. C feels like a poorly posed Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'd go back in and look at the posing on Tyrannosaurus Rexes and see what you can get from that. F is just an alligator, forget it. But B and E are literally some of the first monsters where I'm like, I would just don't really want to fight you. Think your design is succeeding if it pops up and you're imagining yourself fighting and you go, oh shit, no, I really need to figure out what I'm going to do in this fight. Now you're succeeding. For the first time I looked at these and I'm like, oh my God, is it coming off the wall? Is it on the ceiling? Holy shit, is it going to get me? Like, I thought that. So that's why I'm picking those. Not because the drawing's good, but because you're starting to make me feel the oh shit feeling.
Yeah. I like what you're doing with E as well. It feels much more insectoid than it does anything else. And so I almost want you to push up the insectoid or the insectus nature of that. I think the incorporation of the elements, are really cool, but this goes back to like, it'd be cool to see like other components in there. I think this is the one that has to eat the stuff in the crypt to stay alive and do that kind of stuff. And it's trying to put itself back together. So I'd love to see some variation in the limb sizes and stuff, but like keep those legs up, the hind legs up, almost like insect, look at grasshoppers or crickets or praying mantis or something like that. I think that would be, that'd be really cool. You got some of that stuff going on in there. Going back, the bird, I don't know. I think Owen's right. I think, vultures are really interesting, but this doesn't feel, it just feels like a rotting bird. Like if you just walk by and you're like, oh, look, there's a bird that got stuck with a whole bunch of stuff. I think you keep moving on that one. It feels like you're just kind of stuck there. The problem, I guess one of the problems that I'm having is you got this beak on the bird, but then if you go back to the Jolly Green Giant over here, it's got a beak as well. And so if the beak on the green guys was just a mask or something that somebody would lift up, I think that would feel a lot better. Like they're trying to be like this scary bird thing, but they have to wear that mask or something. So just watch out. The similarity, you want to have a lot of variety and that kind of stuff. You got a Spinosaur in there. Congrats on the Spinosaur. Okay, I'm done.
All right, participant 3. We've only got some lineups and we've got a bunch of PDFs. It's a cool way to
I think it's
present.
2 lineups, so I don't think we should do lineups. Yeah, look at those.
Noted.
That lady reenactor was great.
Oh, okay. These are cool. Agonized Scream, Corrosive, Undead, Staring at Hungry, and I you. Party ready for battle. Are you taking this one, Owen, or am I? I can't remember.
Why don't you do this one if you've got the look at that thing. If you've got these things are gross. Your reference is literally gross.
Yeah. I like it. I think your reference is perfect for what you got. It's funny to see like this iguana or this the monitor lizard there. That's kind of funny to see that with all this other gross stuff. But I'm really digging number 4. There's something about that thing that comes up out of it. It's like the oh, what's it called? It's not a proboscis, but it's the thing that comes off of those deep sea fish and hagfish and that kind of stuff. There's something really cool about that, but I like the legs on there. I almost want there to be more legs. What people think of bugs as being scary because they have so many legs, but the scarier the bug, the more dangerous it is. Think of a centipede, man. There's all kinds of legs, and there's there's this this thing lures you into a cave, and I think I like that the jaw that's hanging off of 5, but incorporated into number 4, because the other ones are that's the same old stuff. I mean, geez, watch Fantasia, and that thing number 2 is in Fantasia. So stay away from that. But I think you're on the right track with number 4. It's like we can't tell what it is, and so when Owen is looking to his left and his right, everybody's just how to fight this thing. So I kind of like all those different legs, and you can even make like one a human arm, and you can make another one. Just it's like a Frankenstein type of monster thing, but it has tons of legs on it and stuff. I think that's really neat. Wow, this reference is nuts.
That reference literally it stirred up the bile. Check out that fisherman stuff in the top left. Dude, you can't mess with fisherman stuff, dude. It's already too good. Okay, Adventure Emerald Enclave next to us. Okay, Born Fishing Village. Okay, same thing. We had one of these ones that was a fisherman before, and it was like every single race in class, but nothing having to do with a fisherman. Or that was about the warlock. So for this one, I think fisherman is too good, and it sounds like I'm too hung up on that because I keep coming back to it. But dude, you guys have really good prompts, and I'm not bullshitting you. Some of the prompts in past years were literally just nonsense. You guys have some really, really good ones this year, and I would really push for that kind of stuff, man. I understand that the diligence and indulging sloth is tough to pull off, but none of these are kind of speaking to me that way. So I really do want you to explore acting poses that get us to that thing. And if you're like, how the fuck do I show sloth? Dude, get up, stand up, take a deep breath, and just start thinking sloth and start moving like a sloth. Think about it. Oh, I'm so fucking, sloths do this. Oh, they climb up trees. But I'm a sloth. Oh, do it, move around. And I'm not kidding you, man. Do it, move around, make noises, and just act it. And then, do this in your room, where nobody can see you, so you don't have to feel bad about yourself. But do it. Get the clues just from yourself. And guys, I didn't make that up. I saw Disney animators talking about how they do it. I saw like 65-year-old men running around trying to act like 2-year-old toddlers for reference for animation. Do it. The best people in the world do that. You guys can do it too. It will get you that much closer to zeroing in on telling the story, which if you are not doing, doesn't matter if you're the best craftsperson in the world, the work won't matter because no one will care. Telling the story makes a relatable relationship that creates caring between you and the viewer. You need to do that to communicate. Booyaka.
That's awesome. Yeah, good job. One day I'll have to tell you my story about how we had to beat fire in a closet. So I don't have, but one day somebody asked. I'm going to go on to the next thing. I think Owen hit that one on the head. Those all look like little hobbits. All right, women in armor. Awesome. Some of that armor, that is useful armor.
Yeah, right? Really, some of it is.
Yeah, we got to watch out for breast mail, but it's nice to see some useful armor. So, okay, she's a paladin, elf. I know I'm being kind of curmudgeon-y about this, but yeah, there's nothing different about these. And I think the ones that you have going on is look how long the legs are for the bottom three, and I'm really liking that, but I want to see them much longer. I know that's not really, but that, like an elf, why not? It doesn't have to be like a ultra beautiful humanoid. Why can't it be a little bit taller or a little bit different or something like that? I know elves are taller than humans and they're more beautiful and that kind of stuff, but this feels like it could go in that direction. I think the only one that's kind of telling a story in this case is the one above it on number 3. You really need to number these. It's much easier to talk about them. Because at least it's telling a story. It's like, oh, look, I found a sword. I'm going to swing it around. Look at me. I'm a warrior. Whereas these other ones, like, I could be naked. Oh, I'm slightly dressed. Oh, I'm more dressed, but I'm still surprised by being dressed. So I think what we want to do is we want to find a way to tell the story, but get out of that to make your stuff stand out. Okay, to make your stuff stand out. I know you guys want to be those artists that are all in Spectrum and that kind of stuff, and it's like, but those guys have been around for a while, and to make you guys stand out, to really give yourselves, it's like, oh my gosh, I was looking at Angie's stuff the other day, and she did these elves that were not elves, but they were something completely different. It was like her take on elves. It's like that stands out, that it's fresh and new, and it's it's a new flavor, and I encourage you guys to embrace that. So yeah, I want to see these. I like the appendages. I like how short the arms are. I think that's really interesting. But then give them a value. What's the reason why they have those long appendages? Why did they evolve that way? Do they live in water? Do they have to, that kind of stuff? And that, by thinking about that, that's going to affect their costume and their weaponry and that kind of stuff. Okay, good.
Angie, send me your elves on Facebook. Oh, look at this shit. Oh.
Okay. Next. Thanks for sticking around. Those of you guys who are sticking around. I know we're kind of racing through this, but
we're getting a lot of people sticking around.
The work is awesome. You guys are, huge props to you, and the work is great.
Yeah, everyone who's sticking around, you guys are getting not just your own crits, but everyone else's crits too. So pat yourself on the back.
Dude, when I was a student and teachers said that, I was like, fuck off, that's such horseshit. And now that I'm a teacher, I'm like, dude, I can't even tell you. Every time I talk to one person, I'm literally talking to everybody. And I know sometimes it's hard to even understand that, but I get it now. Lawful evil, social evil. Okay. Indulged in pride, who is an atheist and had been cursed. Courier valued temperance, but indulged in pride, who was an atheist and had been cursed. Okay. This is interesting. The finishes or the comps are an interesting style. Like, it looks like stuff got ran through a photo bash with a filter, like through like a high contrast filter. Can you go to the next page, please? Or I can see these guys. Yeah, like, interesting. Like, I don't know how to feel about it. I have recently been arguing with a couple people online that I work for about photo bashing and the merits and that kind of stuff. And everybody does it, right? And it's just something that happens. I'd be careful to have it read so legibly or so clearly as photo bashing. Now, if I'm saying it's photo bashing and then you're like, no, seriously, I swear it's not, then, I'll trust you, I guess. But the way that you're working really comes off that way. I might rough it up a little bit or get it painterly a little bit, just so that it's not so clear. I do think that you're compositing the right stuff and coming out with interesting things. Telling the story is important, and you're kind of doing it in a couple of them. C is like, I'm cursed, but I'm going to fuck you with my curse. It's too much. You'll never live. Like, it's too much. So it's just too much aggression. So to get that feeling of curse, like, you might get someone who's a little more normal looking and then give them the horns. The horns are the curse that they have to wear in life, right? And walk around the world with. So like, that might be something that's interesting. Get something out of the tail if you're going to put it there. Do something with it. A tail's not just some meat that hangs behind you. It helps balance you and moves you around and does stuff. So do something with the tail. For weapons, I don't love any of them. B is probably the most realistic. A is weird. D is impossible. And You can get designy, but and please do. But with this kind of approach, it feels a little strange. Was there another one of lineups? You got hell of stuff. Okay. I mean, I do like it all together. I mean, there's a nice cohesive look. The costume on A is probably my favorite, and if you could pull in the straps from C and lay them on top of A, you'll get a nicer contour and kind of change up your the kind of the ethnicity that's entering into your piece. You'll fantasy it up instead of having look too much like it's coming from one particular ethnic background. The sword on D on the hip, I like. I'd put that onto any one that you're keeping. Go ahead. Can you clip over? I wanted to see the those cleaner angelic ones.
I wanted to say something about the horns. It's like if you're going to put horns on there and give them humanoid, like there's no way those little tiny would be able to support those horns. Horns are really heavy. Okay, so look at rams. Okay, go look at bighorn sheep and stuff. They have big, huge necks, and so I'd really recommend the trapezius to go from just cover more of the shoulder and stuff like that. I mean, you're talking about something that it's got to support its head. Your head already weighs around 8 to 10 pounds, right? Because it's full of brains and for me, it's a lot of hot air. But you think you have this big, heavy horn set, especially curled horns. That's all, it's the same material in your thumbnails. And so it's there, especially in the curl, so they can actually smash into something else. So it really feels weird that here's this horn growing out of its head. Otherwise, it would just be something they put inside the head, which has a completely different weight. But if it's growing out of there and that's part of the curse, then they should be hung. The head should be drooped down and stuff. I really want you guys to think about that. It's important. And now you're going to say, oh, no, they're magic horns and they're not affected by the horn's weight that way, Jeff, and that kind of stuff. So, okay, yeah, whatever.
Okay. Is there another one that makes these clearer? This is the Paladin probably?
Yes.
I love that graphic thing on D, the graphic halo style on D. For B and A, dude, look at halos. Look at halos in art. There are just so many different kinds, so many crazy kinds. Like I mean, you could do whole pages of just halos, but I wouldn't stop at just a couple swipes. Like look at literal Renaissance statuary and pull that off of statues if you're looking for photo sampling and stuff. I don't know where to go with some of it because it's so obviously photographs. I think that I keep getting stuck on it. I'm. Do you guys agree? Jeff, do you agree, or am I misinterpreting it?
No, I totally agree. There's either two ways that this is done. You either just like boosted a photograph or you're just that damn good. But if you're that good, then show me poses that are different than the poses that you've used. If you're as good as you're saying you are in the top row, show me poses that of these characters like really doing something that's not in the above poses.
Yeah, and I don't want to get into like the merits of doing this and not doing this because like it can work. But if Nicholas, can you please go left to the last one? It can work. I think the problem is sometimes that it slows down, it staunches your own creativity. So like when you go into that, you've already got so much of the decision making done for you, and it's so hard to compete with the kind of quality or the density of information that you end up robbing from the process your own input. So I would be careful. Use some of it sometimes use Photobash sometimes to pull some things out, but do not allow it to be the mainstay of what you're doing, right? So some, but not all. Think 10% or 15% or 20% of your image, and then the 80% of it, the rest of the 80% of it is you. because more comes out of you than comes out of the photograph. When you use the photograph too much, you get stuck with it. For these guys here, 6 with the draped shield holding the boar spear is interesting to me. 7 is part of the silhouette on 7 is just the photograph up above and to the left, but just dropped out with all the information. The weapon on 16, interesting. The weapon and the pose on 16, interesting. The pose is just kind of, we're standing here with weapons. And I get that. Think intimidation, intimidate, especially if you're going to go for repose. If you're going to go for repose, they're standing around, they're resting, they're tired, they're exhausted, they're threatening, they're doing something people do with arrested motion. I think the only one that is a verb is 9. So you got to think think about verbs, not nouns. That goes for everybody, right? So if you're thinking about the first way to start telling a story, think in verbs, not nouns. Right now, this stuff is nice and strong, but it's all nouns, every single bit of it. It's super duper authentic. Like I said, I mean, almost everybody that does armor makes me feel like I'm getting diarrhea because it's so bad. But it's probably like Jeff when he watches other people do dinosaurs. For me, it's my peccadillo. So this stuff is very, very much authentic, but it's almost too authentic. 9 would be the one that I would go with, but I would also do your own drawing inside that thing and let your ability break past that, break past the relying on that formal crutch, which is using too much of the photograph. And really, like, I don't want to spend time like telling you, like poo-pooing you or telling you you're doing wrong, because I think there is an argument for this approach because it is getting the job done. But you've got to be very careful with this approach. You just have to. If one person sees the source material and goes, "Oh, dude, that's from Historic Arms and Enterprises, that Ukrainian company that does an incredible amount of this kind of stuff," dude, you're finished. So like you can't ever get caught, and part of not getting caught is hiding your resources well. These guys, on the other hand, from where we were, are looking stronger to me because it looks like I feel a little more of your influence in these. But C is so obviously a fashion runway model, but these guys feel better to me than the previous 2 concepts. It feels like you're adding a little more of yourself into it to force in the read on that story. But like A is clearly like a fashion model. C is clearly walking the runway. So watch out for that kind of stuff. But ironically, I know I should kick myself in my own balls for this. A and C are also the ones I like the best. So go ahead and be confused with that. But when you do this, dude, for C, design the absolute living shit out of that staff. Dude, design the shit out of that staff, right? Like, really make it work. Spend a little more time and then get into the faces too. Like the face is the window to the soul. Like the face holds the eyes, which are the window to the soul. You're passing up too many opportunities by skipping that stuff. Okay, there you go. That's my spiel. I mean, and after that, dude, I quite like your presentation and the way that you're thinking. So I mean, I just think you've got some crafts to push. Jeff, I don't know if you've got anything else. I feel a little stuck. I didn't mean to just call you out also.
No.
Let's move on. We got one more.
Okay. They just feel a little stiff to me. It feels like being confined by the reference that you're stuck with. And so there is a story about Drew Struzan being stuck with reference. And one day you'll have to ask me about that Drew Struzan reference.
Those 2 reference pages that just went by, man. Oof, so nice. I'm sorry, Jeff. I cut you off. I'm a bastard.
It's all right. I'm used to it.
Oh, fuck. I'm sorry.
What is this, participant 5? Is this participant 5? Yeah. Okay. Wow, look at those colors. That's nuts. Okay. Wow, your reference is just nuts. All right, an adventure from the Rise. They were very young. Orc Bard. I'm curious, is the orc in 10 the camel thing? Because that would be awesome. And then he just happens to have his buddy who walks around and carries the loot and stuff. He's like, Lumo, give me the loot. And he has to get up on its hooves and he starts to play it and stuff. That's cool. All right. Yeah, I like these drawings. I love your drawings and stuff. But now that I've mentioned the orc being the camel, and I just want it to be the orc camel thing. At least these are short. I don't know what to say about these. These are I like these drawings. I think I like the non-silhouetted ones. I think I really like, what is that? A, B, C, D, E. E, I guess. Some of these are hard to read. A, B, C, D, E. I like where you're going with E. I like that shape that's happening in there and stuff like that. Not a bard though. I like 7. I like all that stuff that's on there, and I like that you can see the lute or the harp. I guess it's the harp back there. So some of these it's nice to see them featuring the instrument, which I think is really cool. I think 5 is pretty hilarious because he's got this huge drum, and instead of having a lute, that his foyer into music is how annoying that would be to everybody. But he's not feeling like he's gluttonous. I want to see, if you're going to have a glutton sitting on a horse or a donkey or a camel or something, I want that donkey to be this tiny little thing and have this huge mountain of a person sitting on it. I think then that'd be a nice contrast between that big to small, and they're almost so big that they can't move on their own, so they employ this poor little donkey to lug them around all over the place and stuff like that. And that could be the one that's cursed. He's cursed to be a tiny donkey underneath a giant glutton. So I think the language that you're using is really interesting. I love the design or the what you've employed with the motion, especially in 8 and 9, even though there's kind of the same image. I think you want to go a little bit further. It doesn't feel like they're enormous. It doesn't feel like they're a glutton. I want him just to be like, he's this huge guy or a huge person who's like playing away on their tiny little lute, and that's all they think about. And the poor little donkey is like, oh, okay, we got to go to the next village. And it's kind of like the manager or something. And I think I'd love to see that in there. If we're talking about getting into a language of the character and stuff, I think E is really interesting, but it doesn't feel like it's gluttonous. Okay. If anything, L is pretty gluttonous, but I'm liking 7, just make it bigger. And Owen, your reference is fabulous. Jeez. Fabulous reference.
Okay, this is Tiefling Barbarian. I did like 7 on the other page also, man. There's this stuff is all looking nice. I think this person's rocking it. For the Barbarian, I don't think 14 looks like a barbarian to me the way that I think of barbarians, but I love that pose. You think about characters and how they walk and move and what they lead with, and I like in number 14 that I can see the way that they're thinking and they're leading with their chin or their forehead. Like, how many people do you see walk around throughout the day that lead with their forehead? That's pretty cool. 13 is kind of checking off all the boxes, but it's not as interesting as 14 to me. And I dig the horns on 3, and I dig the poncho on 5, but there's just something about 14 that would make me feel like it's a sick Jiminy Cricket style tiefling. Like it's almost got an insectoid kind of cricket body. I'm digging. 6 is what everyone expects, so I throw that one out right away. And like 6 and 9 is kind of what everyone expects. I dump them. I like the Bardiche on number 1, and but for some reason I am very drawn to 14. That could be my bias too. I think if 5 people looked at this, they wouldn't pick number 14. Number 4's Shield is looking pretty sweet too. K doesn't look like it made it over into the silhouettes, but I really like K as well. The headdress on C is kind of interesting. A couple good ones in the drawings didn't make it over to the silhouettes. But yeah, I mean, if I had my druthers, man, I'd want to see where you can take number 14.
I agree. I like 14 as well. I think I like the headdress. You're right. It's very insectoid. It reminds me a lot of Hopper from Bugs Life. Not that that's a bad thing. But I like where that one feels really good to me.
Just don't make him voiced by Kevin Spacey.
He's out of work anyway. He's not going to be working in the industry anymore.
Face his mouth out of this.
He kind of did himself in. Look at all these animals. How cool. All right. And I scream. Yeah, this is the... Okay, so remember whoever did it before, and it was like they just suggested the rib cage and stuff. Look at the difference here. Look at number 4 and number 5. Look at 7. Wow, 7's really interesting. Look at how far they went. They just took the eraser and they just erased out everything. That's what it looks like here. But it adds a lot. I think the one I like the best, and I think I've said it before, but I like 13. I like how weird it is. I like 5. It has these sort of 2 strange heads. I think that's really cool. I definitely like 7. I'm not quite sure what those, I guess, are ribs in the back, and they're kind of broken off, unless they're wings, but that's too many lines for wings. But I'm really liking where you're going. The number 12 feels like the forest spirit from Princess Mononoke, and so I'd be inclined to go with 13 because it's saying the same thing, but there's more to it. And I like all that stuff that's hanging off of it. I imagine that is like, these are spears and poles and stuff that are used by these little tiny armies to fight this huge monster beast off. And I think that's really cool. I think 8 is really interesting, but I feel like there's almost too much going on where everybody else they don't have enough going on. I think 8 it's like, okay, I'm just going to put it all in there. And I love that it's there, I think, but it's like too much. So I would definitely go with something in the realm of 13. I also like that the neck is down rather than up, and it feels so much more interesting. I wonder if when this gets into another iteration, if we could actually think about offsetting the limbs a little bit, so it has this sort of crooked, it kind of lists to one side, if you will, or something like that. So I'm thinking 13, if we can do a little bit of, add some more of 7 in there and stuff, I think that's going to be really cool. This one, I don't know how, no one's mentioned it, but it's like rotting things smell, right? And if you encounter a deer or something like that out in the woods, it's like it has an odor to it. And so you can actually smell, using your imagination, you can smell 13. And I think that's why I'm going with 13. I like it for that.
Do you mind if I say one thing really quick about these? You said rotting things smell, dude. There is nothing like the putrescence of rotting that stench, and these all look like they stink. These are good. They look like they stink. This artist knocked this part out, man. I mean, all of their stuff was good. This page is a Lamborghini, man. I'm in love with this page. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
This is great. I'm really liking it. So, yeah, I would not like to encounter any of that. You'd smell them before you got there. So,
and that wraps up our last crit.
All right. But I always like to do a Star Baker, and I know, Jack, you're in a hurry to get off to a date. But I always like to do a Star Baker.
Let's hear it.
I hate to say it, but the very last one, because it's like there's so much going on, and this one really got to where I wanted it to be. I think it's still all those stuff that we talked about, it being pregnant and stuff coming out of it and all that other stuff. I think that could have been incorporated in there. But when it's talking about this rotting, yucky, really messy thing, I think this is my Star Baker thing. These monsters here. I think you guys have all done great. Wow, I'm really, really impressed. But this is my fave right here. This last one that we did.
Hell yeah. Congratulations.
Dude, and I know I got criticized every once in a while for saying every class is the best class, but dude, this was the best party banter. Fucking hands down. For a first pass, I really, really, really want to see what you guys do in the next 2 passes. Because for an opening, holy shit. Just carry that momentum into it, keep caring about it and knocking it out of the park like this, guys. This is good work. Yeah, I don't know what this means, but I guess this is what the kids are doing these days. So Angie showed me. So this is this. Good job, guys. This means shy. This looks a little more phallic to me than I'm shy, but studying my movement.
Yeah. So you guys already know that this is our best party banter, and this is only the first crit. So imagine how well we're gonna do in the next 2.
Dude, I kind of want to just see. I know I don't think I'm slated for any more, but I want to see what you guys do.
Well, the great thing is that you can still attend the other 2, just like whatever. Like you can just attend like you're a participant.
Who's doing the next 2?
Next one is a week. It's 8 days from now. We've got Stacy scheduled from, I don't remember the scheduling. Stacy is critting from 2 to 4 p.m.
Okay.
And then 8 days after that, that's on the 15th. 8 days after that, on the 23rd, Dave Yee is critting from 3 to 5 p.m.
Okay.
Nice. Dude, I might hop in and watch because that would be the first time I hopped in on a crit that I wasn't critting, because I'm kind of excited about what you guys are doing. I hope you guys give a round of applause to all of the support students that made this possible for you guys. This is a really cool opportunity. So way to go, guys. Way to fucking fire it up, guys. Good job.
Yeah, and don't forget our amazing professor volunteers who have lent their own time to critting us for almost 3 hours straight.
I love this, guys. I mean, I hope as long as we do this, we get to keep doing this. And I love it, man.
Yeah, I love looking at you guys' work, and I mean, it's awesome. I think you guys are just doing great. Just keep in mind story. When you're doing poses, like they just can't be standing there. They have to say something about the story poses and that kind of stuff. It helps carry the idea.